Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So, today we are on the PTS, and it's just dropped. There's loads of things that have just come out. There's some really cool things, and I want to just jump straight in. Look at the werewolf change, look at the class masteries. I've read the notes, and there's some really cool things that I want to just go through. I also just want to say, obviously, a huge kind of word onto Zoz, because some of the stuff more recently has been really good. They've been knocking it out of the park. So really excited to kind of just show you what we're doing. On screen is just the upcoming build. So this is my DK Templar bomb thing. It's coming to the channel soon. So if you want to see that, subscribe. It really helps out more than you realise. And as always, just a huge thanks to everybody that does support on PC, on Patreon, on YouTube, all that stuff. It really helps. If you want to support in any way, there's details down below. But we're going to go on to live server now, and we're going to kind of show what there is. So this is the PTS. If you've not seen the PTS before, it is the test environment, and it allows you to essentially test different things, see what works and what does not work. The beauty of the PTS is that we can throw builds together and really see, is it good, is it not? So what I'm going to do, I kind of want to do two things. So we are going to jump in and show the werewolf, because that's really exciting. Some of the stuff looks fantastic, and then I want to showcase some of the class masteries, because when you read them, you're going to be like, ooh, there's a few interesting things. So first and foremost, let's touch on the class masteries, because that affects every class. So currently in the Elder Scrolls Online, you have the ability to subclass, and what that means is you can take one of your skill lines, so Animal Companions, Green Balance, Winter's Embrace, and change it to be a different class. The idea is that you can have a Sorcerer with a bit of Warden and a bit of Nightblade, and you're good to go. The issue they run in that obviously is subclass builds are typically stronger because you can stack more buffs in better ways, and what they're going to try and do is introduce this brand new system called Class Mastery, and this is new to the game. In update 50 this will drop. I do want to stress heavily that the numbers you see are placeholders. So they have said in the notes that things are subject to change, and they might adapt quite heavily during the Class Mastery refreshes and all the classes that come out. So as they rework the classes, these passives will change quite heavily, but the way to access these is that you have to have 3 skill lines from the same class. So basically, if you subclass, you cannot use these masteries. It's that simple. Okay? With the masteries themselves, you have for the Warden, Thunder's Maw. So it says expose your enemies to unrelenting cold and apply chill to an enemy. Applying chill also applies Mage Brittle, increasing the crit damage taken by 20%. What you will notice is that this mastery feels like how the DK or the Warden or the Sorcerer, the base class, plays. Warden's all about animals, nature, and ice. This is going to help your ice passives do more, so it really is a nice way to do it. The other thing to stress is you can only have 2 of these. You then have Wild Adaptation. So the battlefield is your grove, tend to it. You gain 333 weapon and spell damage for each status effect on your target, up to a maximum 1600. In PvP, this is insane. Because if you use Elemental Susceptibility, that's Burning Shield Concussion, that's 3 instantly, that's 900 weapon damage, just with this passive. So from a PvP perspective, Warden's going to hit an absolute truck if they keep this as it is. So these things really push the damage and the healing to make them competitive against pure subclass builds. We then have Glacial Obstinance. So tap into the Wellspring of Permafrost's Resolve, upgrades Bonds of Nature to also activate when casting Winter's Embrace abilities to grant 15% weapon and spell damage for 10 seconds if you are at full health after the heal. So basically, if you heal yourself, you get a huge damage boost. It's nice, it's getting more damage. You could stack these 2 and it's just, whew. You can have Greenkeeper's Hide. The Twisting of Seasons has Tempered Your Will. Reduce your damage taken by 3% for each status effect on the enemy. So again, if you put debuffs on the targets, you can make yourself tankier as a result. Great in duels, for example. And then Bountiful Harvest, share in the spoils of nature's abundance, upgrade rank 2 of nature's gift to grant the healed target major heroism for 4.5 seconds and an additional 250 stamina and magicka. What you will notice that some of these passives, and I chose Warden on purpose, is because some of these link to the base passives. So if you're unfamiliar, nature's gift is down here. But when you heal an ally or yourself, so this has now changed, it now can be you, which is fantastic. This is a huge buff. So when you heal yourself or an ally, you then get 250 mag and stam. And this is a 1 second cooldown, so this is 500 regen in passive. It's super strong, so this is fantastic. And then obviously if you go for the mastery and get this, you also get another 250. So you now got 1,000 recovery by utilising the class mastery, which means you can stack way more damage if you're using these heals. Because you use like a lotus flower, which heals you every time you light attack. This will then proc this every second. So it's that simple. So that's kind of how the masteries work. The one thing to stress is that you can only have 2 of them. And what they have said, and they haven't put it in the note, but it has been on the previous posts they've done, is you can't, some of them are like not compatible. So it means that some of them will only work by itself, and if you put another one with it, it just won't work. So the DK has a good example of that later on. And generally you can have 2 at a time. So that's the kind of TLDR with these passives. As you've probably seen with the title, we've got the werewolf rework. So we're going to hop onto that. I'm going to show you what's changed, how it all looks. So we'll get the werewolf from the upgrade store. It will be in here somewhere. So I might need to go to the shrine, okay. So I just need to go to the werewolf shrine, which is a bit annoying, but we can do that, it's not too bad. Okay. So we just got to find where that werewolf shrine is. Travel over. So if you want to access the shrines, they are located in the starter zone. So you've got Columba, Oridon, Stonefalls. Quite like Oridon's always a nice place over here. And we'll kind of show where they are, okay? So for the one in Columba, it's obviously the northeast, which is quite far up. Ebonheart Pat, it's east part of Stonefalls, and for Dominion it's the northwest, so we need to go all the way up here somewhere. Or I'm going to see which one's got the closest. And then we need to go eastern part, which is over here, so this will probably be the easiest way to get bite. And we'll go grab the bite quickly, okay? So yeah, if you just joined, what we're doing is just going to get the werewolf bite. They have moved it, which is a little annoying. But you will see that other people have come here for exactly the same reason. I need to set a mount so we can actually see it, okay? Let's go get our mount quickly. We'll ride over. Let's go. Okay, I don't really care what the mount is, to be honest. It is quite a ride. I think this one's not too bad. Actually, we'll go to that one. It's not too bad. Okay, so you're looking for the werewolf icon. It's actually easier to get it from here. I know this region a bit better. It's up here somewhere. So we're going to go right up there and we'll grab it quickly, okay? And if you just joined, what we're going to do is look at the changes, because there's some cool stuff, and really show what you want to grab. Thankfully, this mount is super quick, which is fantastic. We'll just put on some skills quickly so that way we can fight if things attack us. And we'll just grab the tool for the Aided King, so that way we've got just a rough build in an item. It's really good to test stuff, so I really like this mythic. Okay, so that way we've actually got a build, which means we can do damage. We're going to quickly just ride on up. So we get the werewolf bite. It's in the welder skills. So we've got a little that ride is about a mile away. Anking says, any changes to the werewolf skill cost reduction from shapeshifters chains? We're going to quickly grab the werewolf and we can check that. But they've changed a lot of the cost like anyway on it, so it doesn't cost that much now in like when you're in form, which is fantastic. But like before, it took absolutely ages to get it. Somebody else is riding to where I'm going to. So once we've gone to the shrine, we can grab the actual thing. And then we'll be able to double check that question, okay? Oh, I hit a... You shall run away. I need to put on a weapon and actually sort all my sets. They've also added in this one as well the increased difficulty on the overland stuff, which is really cool. We're about halfway to get into the shrine. So if you joined us, we're on the way to get to the werewolf shrine. So before you could just go to the crown store and literally buy it. You'd go to upgrades and it'll be right down here. It'll be like, check other characters. But now you actually have to go to the shrine to get the bite back, which is a little annoying. Like for testing and stuff, but it's not too bad. Yeah, we're not too far from where we need to be, 500 meters away. There should be a way shrine near here somewhere. There it is, and it's literally there. There's that question mark. And then yeah, we're going to show the werewolf changes. If you joined the start of the stream, you would have saw me just talk about the class masteries briefly and how it works. And then what I want to do is go through and show what the class masteries look like, because that's quite an important thing, and how it would feel on a build in PvP. Obviously, lots of you guys know I do PvP as my main thing. It's what I love. I am also thinking about branching into some PvE guides and stuff at some point, but I want to focus on PvP for tonight and like how the masteries feel. Are they really broke for PvP? I think some are, yes. But unless we've kind of put the numbers together, we won't know the answer just yet. Well, this has been quite a ride, isn't it? Look at this. It's taken ages. There we go, we've got the shrine finally, and there's a little werewolf sign thing.
I'm a hungry soul, ruled by a bold thing to us.
Yeah, so we've got the werewolf now, so we are a werewolf finally. It's good. I need to put on the quests. So you've got to investigate the shrine.
Ready? Are you sworn to enter the pack?
So we need to go and find the pack master, which is annoying. He's normally over here. He is. It's making you do the entire quest, which is so frustrating. Like so frustrating. But we can see if they've changed the quest anyway in the process. Maybe they have. I don't think so, but we'll check. It would be cool they have changed it, because obviously we've got new systems. So with that in mind, I'm just going to quickly just put on my stuff how I like it normally. So I always go number in percent because that's good for PvP. I like to see what's actually happening, especially with some skills. And we'll grab... This is like a rough set. Maybe we can use the werewolf max, and maybe that will just give it to us. Oh great, they did change that. Yeah, I don't need to mess around with this then. Yeah, we're going to go to our house, because that way I can do it like freely without needing to stress. And this is one of the new houses, if you want to see. And then yeah, we're going to spend some time afterwards like looking at the masteries and really testing like how good things are. So one thing I want to know is, do like passives, do they still try and like carry over? So on the werewolf, you've got your insatiable hunger now. So it says while you're in werewolf form, hunger gnaws at you, like Stoingberg, I think it's pronounced. Shape it to your brutal weapon. Gain the ability to devour corpses up to 4 seconds per corpse. Each second devouring will heal you for 4.5k, basing your max health, and you restore 15 ult. If you are a werewolf berserker, each tick activates fuel regeneration. We'll look at this stuff in a moment, okay? Let's just slot this on. Go and get the well. You can put this down. Done. Okay, then we can go into the werewolf and have a look at what does the model look like, because they've changed the model. They've changed some of the like, animations. So this is the new werewolf model, which I would say does look a lot better. What's that? Yeah, this looks like so much cooler. You might notice my ult isn't going down. And my werewolf bar, like you normally have this bar down here on the bottom left by your magicka that would tick down and you would come out a werewolf, and that doesn't go down anymore, which is really nice. So it says transform into a beast, fearing nearby enemies for 3 seconds. While transformed and in combat, abilities generate 15 fury. When you have 1000, this ability becomes rampage, which increases your damage done by 15%, move speed by 20%, and removes the cost of all werewolf abilities for 20 seconds. While slotted, you get the 15% stam recovery. That's quite a good little thing. You also know it uses 0 ult per second, so like we can run around in this. That's quite cool. What's up? Oh, look at that. That's oh, they give you that's really look at this. So if you don't know what this means, this is like cloak removal. So if you think of inner light, when you push inner light, you get this here, and you can see Nightblades, people in cloak. You also get a buff. What's the buff actually called? So, I'm simply looking at the icon. So it's called Prowl, and what does Prowl do? Reduces your aggression radius by hostile monsters for 66% and grants you stealth detection. To have free stealth detection as a werewolf when you go into crouch, that's going to be so good in PvP. Like honestly, that's going to be so good because you're fighting this Nightblade. He hits cloak and you go, nope, and then you can see him. Like that's sorry, I'm really happy with that change, because when I've played werewolf before, it's really annoying fighting Nightblades because they go invisible all the time. So I'm really happy with that. Let's look at some of the skills, because this model looks awesome. They're really making the game look better. So I think they're doing a good job with this. So passive wise, we've got Master of the Chase. While you're in werewolf form, give Chase Hunter, become Pursuit Unrelenting. Increases your speed, so you get 15% speed, and you get 30% movement speed. So that's basically Major Expedition, that is, at all times. That's pretty cool. But you bear in mind, we don't have any other CP on. Do we need to turn it off though? For that to apply? Yeah. So it doesn't. Your passives don't apply if you are already in form, but you can see we're moving quicker now. That's quite noticeable. So we know that we get a nice speed boost, and you get the heavy sustain. You get Blood Rage. Honor your pact and let loose your rage. Increase the amount of fury you generate by 5. Current bonus 15. Fury is generated by using werewolf abilities while in combat. Once you have 1000, you gain access to Rampage ult, which increases your damage done by 15%, movement speed by 20, and removes the cost of all werewolf abilities for 20 seconds. That's so good. If you can get this up in PvP, you're going to have like free sustain. And you get, so our current bonus is 20, so yes, it's 1000, but we obviously this would just get us up quickly. I wonder if there's any sets that will increase how quick you can charge this up, like shapeshifters. Did that change? You then have a warring werewolf form. Lork teaches you suffering, so 2 all your claws. Increase your damage by 16%, and you get armor. That's standard. And you get a 33% weapon and spell damage. That's so our damage at the moment is 4k. Let's just pop back into it. Yeah, so considering we haven't really got much on here, and there's no damage buff yet. You got Shadow of the Blood Moon. I think this is just the bite, so yeah, you can just bite people, and then Call of the Hunt. So no beast can resist their master's call. Hunt as one, and none shall escape. Reduce the cost of remaining werewolf by 10% for each transformed werewolf or direwolf, including yourself, up to a max 40%. And then this puts it up to 80%. But what we need to do is I'm going to put a target dummy down, because I want to see how quickly it drains the werewolf. Because being able to move around like this when you're not in combat is cool, because I'm not like losing stuff. So let's just use the 100 ult that did. Okay, so I think your bar is tied to your ult. If I just keep attacking it. And I want to see, can we turn out of werewolf? Yeah. So we used to have the little blue bar on the bottom left. I think this is your rage bar now. And then what happens is every 10 seconds you lose 100 ult. So that's how the like werewolf sustain charges. So having heroism could be very good for this, which means Oakensoul will be very nice on the werewolf. Let's look at some of these skills. We can change the ult to pack leader. There's major protection, block mitigation, minor courage, upgrades rampage to grant health recovery while active. So what I transform, rampage gives you 4,000 health regen. That's really, really good. You get the dire wolves, which means, I assume, we can change this for free. That then the ult cost would then change as well. Because at the moment, it is really expensive. Like, it's 100 ult every 10 seconds. Whereas now, so that's changed. So I'm going to just see, can we sustain? So I'm seeing, can we sit in werewolf without needing like any skills and sets? The 365, when it went down, if it goes down again to below that, which I think it will, then we do need to use some skills in this, or have ult gen. Yeah, so we're losing about 10 ult, which basically means if you're not using skills and just attacking, you're not going to like, stay in this forever. So let's see what skills we have then to generate the werewolf stuff. You've got Pounce. So Pounce is the same. When you are 7 meters close, you get Carnage. Same sort of stuff. Let's see, how does that look? Okay, that... Oh, well, the animations are different. Okay, that looks quite cool. That looks cool. Sorry, I'm like geeking out over the things. What's weird is there's a delay. It feels like there's a cast time on it. So it says instant, but there is definitely a delay. Can I roll dodge cancel it? That's the question. No, you can't. So I'm trying to roll dodge cancel for people that are not aware. That's when you push a skill and then roll dodge. You do this. I can't do that. Can I block cancel it? No, can't put bars what. The bottom left bar is my rampage charging up. So this down here tells you how much rampage you have from what I can work out. And at max you basically get crazy damage. Which could be really fun in PvP. Okay, what are the morphs on that? And then Aking was asking in YouTube, what about shapeshifters? How does that work? Because obviously this is all different now. So we will check that out. I just want to go through the skills first. If Brutal Pounce deals additional damage to other nearby enemies, that's an AoE. Carnage hits in a cone and increases its duration on successive applications. So when you're to become brutal, which rips to all enemies and deals up to 450 more damage to enemies under 100% health. So this is basically your execute. What's it at base? So it does the same thing. And if you keep using it, you just get bonus damage. So you can basically like stack the bleed on them. You then got Feral Pounce. You restore stamina and trigger Fury generation when dealing damage with either form of the ability. So when you're 7 meters or close, this becomes Feral Carnage, which causes you to rip into an enemy, puts a bleed on them. Dealing damage with either ability restores 2,000 stamina and triggers Fury generation. Fury generation is how we generate our rampage, I believe. That blue bar on the bottom left. I feel like this would be really good stam sustain. But it doesn't feel like this can be done multiple times. So I feel like you might use this in PvP now, because this used to give you like sustain when you was in Werewolf. But we then got I'm gonna check the animations, see are the animations the same. I think they'll be the same. Yeah, I think our hands glow a bit more red with the claws. And then so you can do that. And you can stack the bleed. So if you, I don't know if you can see under his name, he's got 3. So if you think about like the vampire hemorrhaging, you know when you use arterial burst and you put hemorrhage on somebody, it's that. So that's quite cool. And he looks, look at it, he looks proper badass, doesn't he? Like, even the white one looks awesome. Sorry, look at that. I think they've done such a good job with this. And they've increased the player model. So if you notice, this is a player size there. We're slightly bigger. And it feels more imposing as a result. Like the camera is slightly different. Let's change this. I just want to check if that's got a different animation. I don't think they do. Mother of all monsters in YouTube says, isn't there a female werewolf? Yes, they've added a female werewolf. We can see what it looks like if people are curious. I need to get some more old. Well, you can't get old. Well, can I? Oh, you can. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so when you do, you just get a bit of green particle when you land. And you see, we can't stack the bleed like we could before. I don't think, just looking at these two skills for PvP, I don't think Feral Pounce is worth it. Okay? Just like, I'm gonna put that out there right now. I think Brutal Pounce is the way to go. Having the ability to just put an extra dot on somebody is gonna be very good. Put that on the 3 times, it's gonna be disgusting. We then have Hersine's Bounty. So you invoke the Huntsman as your heal, scales with max health, you restore stam. Increases by up to 100% based on how high your current health is. It restores 10% stamina, increased by 100% based on how high your health is. Aiken says, does it work on the dots too? Oh, that's a good, let's check that. I've got combat metrics installed, I believe. Yeah, so I can check it here, okay? Where's the graph and the resource sustain? It's one of the ones where I use this like so often. I need to find where it is though. On that one. Resource is. There's Feral Pounce. I gain it from Feral Carnage. I'm losing that stam there. Feral Pounce. Feral Carnage. Feral Carnage. 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 It does look like it gives it to you every tick. I will double check that because it's easy to check, okay? But no, that's a really good thing to point out because if that's the case, that's actually a lot of free sustain. This is why I find it really helpful when I test stuff in the PTS because I can try it, but also when I do it live, people give suggestions, and then it kind of helps me see what do we need to do. That's one there, and then there's a dot on him. I'm gonna just drain some stam here. Yeah. So if you can see in the bottom right, it's going 8-3. So I do it again. 10-4, then add the 600. So that dot does look like it procs the sustain, which is worth noting. But it is worth. You can see it here. Look, I hit them once. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So the Feral Carnage, that 200 stamina is applied every time that dot ticks. Oh, the question is then, just like big brain here, is it like Burning Embers? Can you apply it on multiple enemies? Because if you can apply it on multiple enemies and get like 3 or 4 ticks, then it can become very, very strong. You with me so far? 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna go and. Oh, it does. Oh, that's really insane. How quick that is. Is it in a cone? I don't think that's a cone. Oh yeah, that applies. If you look up the stam, you'll watch it goes up like loads of really quick. So 10-4, 10-6, 11, 12-4, 10-6, 11. So that's really worth noting. Okay, actually, there's probably a bit more use to that than I first realised. If this was an AoE, this would be insane for like just sustain, but it's still really good. Okay, that's actually quite. Knowing if you have sustain issues, this is a good way to just get that sustain, jump on 4 or 5 people. You've got loads of extra stam coming in constantly. And what's nice is this will come in as you're sprinting or sneaking. Whereas this is more like high aggressive. So there's actually some good difference between the two. And with this being a cleave, AoE, you can't dodge roll this. So pounce you can dodge roll, the feral pounce, but brutal pounce you can't. So again, there's some really good changes here with these. We've got the Hurting bouncy, so this is just our burst heal, gives us sustain back, gives us damage buff, so we'll grab this. Our numbers will go up obviously. So we're going to try the base morph, look at the animation, see how it feels. But I'm like, I feel, and this sounds really harsh to the developers, but I feel like these guys, the developers we have currently, seem way more in tune with what we want as players. Like, this looks awesome, the skills feel great, the sounds are fantastic, and actually the buffs that we've seen on DK and stuff feel what I want for PvP. But it feels like the game's moving in the right direction finally. So that's exactly the same, pretty much, just a big green bit around it. Soul says, the Necro passes make the class playable at all. I made some notes in my Discord. If you are in my Discord, you'll see it in the PTS channel. So, shameless plug, I have a Discord. If you want to join, it. I'm going to put a link in chat for people curious. So there's my Discord, and I'll do it on Twitch as well. And there's my Discord. But I went through and I broke down what the passes look like and how they will feel. My initial thoughts to Solus's thing is I don't feel it's going to make enough difference personally. I could be wrong, I need to test it. We then have Hurting's Rage, so healing now goes with your offensive stats. This is really good. It grants double Fury. What's double Fury? Is that like actually just double Fury stack? Because you can double your Fury regeneration, that's going to be really nice. Fury, if you're unaware, this lets you get to your, you get this Rampage ult thing. And then we've got Hurting's Fortitude. Increases the healing and stamina restored. Passively grants Major Vitality. So you get major vitality, major sorcery. Like, that's huge. Okay, so I want to see what this looks like, okay? So I'm just checking like the animations. That's exactly the same. Okay. So we're going to go and change that, isn't it? Being able to like change the skills like this is such a nice quality of life feature. Like, I really, really love it. Because you can do this in BGs as well. So like if you go into Battlegrounds and put the wrong skill on, okay, that's just red. Okay, we've got Rampage. So you'll see our ult at the moment. It's 247. What does that do? What is it? I want to see what Rampage does. Okay, so our hands grow. And our skills are completely free. Is our heal free? Oh, God, sorry. We've just used our Rampage, and we're pretty much at full Rampage by just spamming that skill. Because this gives you Rampage, and then we're ready for Rampage again. And we can use the heal for free. Okay, okay, that's going to be... That seems pretty broken, I'm not going to lie. The fact that this gives you it charges your Rampage up really fast at Fury. And we haven't tried the other ones. Okay, I like this. This is the one I would use for PvP. 100%. It scales with your damage, which is, you want damage anyway. It gives you loads of Fury generation for crazy OP ult. And if you're unaware of what Fury does is, when you're in this, you basically get loads of health regen if you go for the pack leader one. You get like just tons and tons of just extra effects. It's quite silly. So it's very, very nice to Rampage. It's down, I think it's down here. One of these that has it. I'll show that in a second. We then have Raw, so this is your stun with off balance. Up to 12 allies can activate Feeding Frenzy, which gives us 6% damage done. And you get crit chance. Yeah, I assume this looks exactly the same as before. Oh no, that's different. That looks cool, look at that. What's the radius on it? It's 10 meters, that's huge. And then as we do this, we get a buff as well. The raw enemies for 4 seconds off balance grants you a stack of Blood Hunger, which empowers Gnash and Claw Fury. We haven't got that yet, but we will have a look at those in a second. Solus is saying, of course they're doing Necromancer last. Yeah, I think Necromancer needs a big rework personally. It just doesn't function well in PvP. But I don't know if you've seen what they've done for DK, for Werewolf. These refreshes feel really good. We've got Ferocious Roar, some Major Courage, and you can also use your own synergy, which grants 2 stacks of Blood Hunger. And that empowers Gnash and Claw Fury. We'll look at that in a second. So if you consume a stack of Blood Hunger, it increases the initial by 25%. The second it deals up to 200% more damage to enemies. That's your execute, basically. I want to check if you have this, does it use both at once? It's a 50% boost, which is quite big, or is it a 25%, 2 times? You then got a Deafening Roar, which is Cowardice, Maim, converts the slot bonus to Major Evasion and Minor Protection. Selecting this morph enhances Gnash to Taunt. So this is your taunt for tanking, if you want to tank as a werewolf. And there's lots of, actually this is a lot of like damage reduction, because Cowardice is like 400 weapon and spell damage lost. Maim, it reduces their damage done as well. So again, it's a huge amount of like defense, and then 20% damage reduction. And this is really defensive. So this is quite good. It is 4 seconds, so it doesn't last that long though. I think Ferocious War for PvP. Let's see what that looks like. I assume it's going to be red. Ready? And we can do the freedom of it. Oh, that's cool. And what's nice with that, you can synergize. You can use the Undaunted passives down here. So again, when you synergize yourself, you get this for free. So there's probably a bit of sustain built into this too, because you can do it yourself now. And it was very easy to just tap that, like, it wasn't hard. And bonus damage. And oh, you also get 6% damage done too. Yeah, so this is like, was it 400 weapon and spell damage, 6% damage done, and 10% crit damage. This is huge. That's really good for damage. Let's look at the other one just to see are there any different like colours to it. Because I like when they like change the animations to be telegraphed. So then when you're doing PvP, you kind of know what you're going against. Yeah, that looks very similar, that does. I don't think I'd notice the difference if I got hit with that. But I would go with Ferocious Roar for PvP. We then have Gnash. So Gnash, bare your fangs and gnash your teeth into an enemy while ripping back. It sounds a bit like Volt. Dealing X amount of damage on the initial launch, and then when you pull back, you use bonus damage. Consume a stack of Blood Hunger to increase the initial damage by 25%. And deals up to 200% damage if the enemies are low health, so it's an execute. Yeah, so we're going to try this. I've put the Howl down to just one boost just to see how much a difference it makes, okay? So this is this skill. Ready? Okay, so it literally is. Can you roll dodge it? Oh, yes, you can. So you can roll dodge it. So you still got the two numbers there, yeah? So you don't have to like do it and it locks you into it, which is quite helpful. Oh, the heavy attack. Look at the heavy attack change. Let me put up I'm going to put up the game sound a bit more. I think I've got a compressor on it. I'll turn the compressor off or something. But then that way the game's not loud. You can hear the sound effects. If it's too loud, please say and I'll lower it down. But the sounds, they sound really good. Like really good. So this is heavy attack. This is pounce. This is howl. You can stay in werewolf for absolutely ages, by the way. Like we haven't really been pushing any. There's no like alt gen skills, which is really interesting. Just checking with Discord. Can't multitask. Aiken's going, how much are the direwolves doing? I can look at the damage. Damage done, they are doing 400 a hit. It's not huge. Oh no, sorry, they're doing 2000. I looked at the wrong one. So their lunge, which is like their bigger attack, their heavy, is 1500 to 2k, and the little attack, light attacks are 200 to 400. For context, we have 5,000 damage. Obviously, we have no pen, we don't have any CP on, so they will be a bit higher, but I don't think they're going to be reliable for damage for PvP. I think you use this mainly for the defense ones you get, and also to be able to stay in werewolf much, much easier. So what I want to now check is that does 3,200. If I use this and do it again, yeah, that was a crit. That didn't help. Of course it crits. 3,700. Okay. So we've got 3.7k. And what we're going to do is we are going to remorph it now, and I'm going to put on the other one. This is the level of testing I do in my builds, by the way. Because this gives you can have 2 stacks. Now, if you've got 2 stacks, do you get the ability to go and do 50% bonus damage so that it uses both up? That's what I'm curious about. So when you go and cast this, you've got 2 stacks, 4,000. 4,000. That's the hit breach. Do that again. 4k. So it looks like when you do it, it only uses one stack at a time. So it doesn't like give it a straight 50% damage boost. You do have to double cast it. The only reason the damage went up is because of the courage. So I don't know how good this is actually. You get the damage boost, which is huge, and the synergy, which is huge. But it doesn't make this super good. It would be nice if you could use both stacks at once, because then that would make it really potent. Friedrich says, I was thinking about something. Werewolf High generates triple ult while in Werewolf form. Would it affect the Nord ult gen? And if so, do you think it worked well on a DK with Balorg? Well, that's what I'm wondering, because on a DK you could use the Basalt Blood, which is the class set, and it gives you major heroism at all times, which is like really good. So that will be something that I'll definitely look into. But I want to check like how the sustain works. I was gonna be 1 second, grab a drink, it'll be like 20 seconds or so. Hello, sorry about that, I went and got some water. Yeah, Bloodspawn's not a bad shout. Some alt gen, I'm thinking like Oakensoul Werewolf actually doesn't sound that stupid, because you've only got one bar anyway. Monomyth Werewolf could also be quite fun, major force, so that'd be disgusting. So I think we can make some good stuff with this. With the morphs on Nash, we have the following. So we have Rip and Tear. So the initial hit applies Sundered and Mage Breach. That's major and minor pen for people curious. That's 9,000 penetration, which is huge. That is a lot of damage, that is. Usual stuff there. The second hit deals more damage to enemies with less than, and heals you for 6k base of your max. So this does damage and heals you. This is actually really nice. You got Bloody Nash. So it has a 50% chance not to consume blood hunger, and the second it applies hemorrhaging. I don't think that's that good personally. I'll put it on just to like see the animation, because you've got the blood hunger here. But the animation's like this. It's more, it is actually very gruesome. Oh, you can't go into first person. I don't think you could, but I'm gonna do it. We've got 2 there. Still got 1. Still got 1. So I've managed to get an extra 2 out. I've got an extra 4. So I had like 4 hits in a row. So yeah, I'm not sure on that one personally. Rip and Tear, we want to try that. I think that'd be quite cool. And yeah, if you've just joined, we're looking at the werewolf skills, the animations, how they feel, and really think about how that would work in PvP. So this one looks pretty much the same. Oh yeah, that is a... I definitely think we'd go for this one for PvP. Rip and Tear. It's 9k penetration. It's 100 weapons damage to yourself, so more healing, because you heal scale of damage, if you go with the right morph. We then have Rend Claws. So this shred up to 6 enemies. This is like your claws that you had before. There was an initial hit and then a dot. The dot's pretty decent, and the initial hit has a 15% chance of applying Sundered, while the damage over time has a 5% chance of applying hemorrhaging. Okay, let's have a look at this. It does look cool. Look at that. They're like, those bleeds look awesome. Is it a pretty good cone? Is it a circle or is it a cone? That's what I'm curious about. It says cone. I need to get my ult back. I want to see. It's meant to be a cone, but I'm more curious about how wide of the cone is it. So is it a 180? So imagine there's a straight line that goes horizontal across here. I think you can see in the mouse. And there it does like this big 180, or is it actually a cone like this? Because both are technically a cone. Yes, it looks like it's not quite a 180, but it's not far off it. Look at that. That is not far from 180, is it? Because that's hitting all three of them. Friedrich says he likes the fact that it alternates these, so that's left, right, left, right. The heavy attack's to the right, heavy attack's to the left, so yeah, it alternates both, like all the skill things. That's really cool. Then we've got the werewolf, rending claws. We can change it to claw or fury, convert us into a direct channeled attack. Generates fury and blood hunger and increases damage based on blood hunger stacks. Okay, this sounds really weird. So you shred up to 6 enemies in front with ferocious intent, dealing 75,000 dot damage in a channel attack over 4.7 seconds. Okay, my like geeky side, I want, what is that per second? Divided by 0.7. It's basically 5 seconds. So this is 16k approximately. If you divide it by 5, this is 15,000. Friedrich's like werewolf arcanist beam. So you've got DK fire beam with the breath now. You've got werewolf claw beam potentially. We'll see what it looks like. I think you then have got the arcanist beam. I wonder what lightning beam is. It'll be like, I don't know if everybody's seen Mortal Kombat, but if you've seen Mortal Kombat and you think of Raidon, I think that would be so cool. Like bzzz, zapping people. So yeah, I gotta have a little play at this. Sorry, this sounds stupid. That is cool. Is it an AoE? Oh, it is an AoE as well. Okay, what's interesting is it's honestly, it's literally like bzzz. I'm not sure about like the animation. It seems a bit like I get it speeds up at the end. So what I want to check, this can sound really stupid, is does the damage ticks increase frequency? Okay. 1. We can check in combat metrics because the animation it speeds up. It looks like it speeds up to me. Let's go for damage done because we can check on here. So it's 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, 0.3 to 200. Yeah, it doesn't really look like the actual tick of it. So although the animation goes faster, it doesn't look like it's actually registering the damage in quicker ticks, quicker intervals. Because I think it's basically doing like every 0.3 second. That is a very cool skill. The dealing damage with the ability joins 25 fury and a stack of blood hunger once per second. How much blood hunger can this get you? 1, 2. And at the end, the ability to do 25% more damage per stack of blood hunger consumes all sets when the ability ends and is considered direct damage. So this basically gives the final hit a really big oomph if you can get it off. I quite like that. Because like the Arcanist beam just hits hard every tick if it hits somebody. Whereas this, if you can line this up properly and get that final hit on somebody, so you do a huge amount of damage. Because it's 25% more. So then that would be essentially 100% double damage at the end. Can we pre-charge this and then do this? So can we up to like 5? Oh no, 4 is the max. Okay. So we can't get over 4, which is good to know. That's good to check. Yeah, if you just joined up, we found that the werewolf has a claw beam. So if you played Arcanist, it's got this really long channel. It is pretty generous though, like it's quite easy to land and hit. It's very, very fun. I don't know how effective it will be in PvP, but it is fun, and I'm all for fun. Like really, we want more fun skills. We've then got Blood Claws, so the initial hit heals you for a portion of the damage caused, while the damage over time heals based on max health. Fred Ward says, beam? What the? I've been gone too long. Yeah, the game's changed a lot, to be fair. Friedrich says you can start at 4. Let me try that for a second. If we start at 4, we need to be in combat. 1, so we've got 4, and then okay. So let me just spread the dummies out a quick. Yeah, there's the Arcanist is a class that came in Necron, and that added the Arcanist beam. So when people say beam, they mean like Arcanist generally now. I'm just spreading these out a bit more so I can leave the werewolves over there, the little direwolf ones. As for Fred and YouTube just asking what about Nightblade and like class mastery. So the Nightblade, they've just done very minor bug fixing, like nothing really massive. The class masteries are like they're in this patch, which we'll go through after this. We're just playing with werewolf, it's really fun. But the werewolf looks awesome. The two-hander skills are awesome. The DK is fantastic. Like they are really nailing what the game should feel like. It feels like they've done a really good job of this, and they've got like a lot more license to do fun stuff. Vic says it's so good. Honestly, like what I want to check is it does 25 per stack. So if we have 4, which what I think it was A King was saying, if we had King Bradley was saying, if we have 4 stacks, then do we get the bigger hit at the start? So we're going to go 1, 2, and we check on this one here. So 5,953, yeah, was the base hit, and we're trying this one here. Yeah. Okay. So maybe that is the way to play. So you can basically use this as a crux generator. If you imagine it's crux, you charge it up twice, and then you get double damage on this. Which now this is 150k dot, which is obscene. Like that's actually stupid because it hits so hard. You go 1, 2, and you got massive hits. Obviously, we don't have a build on yet. Oh, I wonder if the torture updates. Let me just check. Does a torture update? Yeah, it does. Look at that. I'm gonna re-put on sets like Soul Shine, which increases your channel damage, because that'll make this go like stupidly higher. And we've got Rampage to mess around with too. This is Rampage for people curious. It's the werewolf has an ultimate on top of it, so you don't just have these really cool skills. You actually have an ult ability you can use. It says consume your fury, unleash the beast. You get 20% speed boost, 15% damage on 4k health recovery, 2000 PvP, and it makes your werewolf transformation be completely free. First says you'll be a lawnmower in Cyrodiil. And then when you go into werewolf into it, you can. So now that they're in here, we can like literally and then go. You get so much damage with that. So we've done a Freedom Frenzy. It starts at 6,800. That's literally tripled the damage. Okay, you're gonna do some. Everybody, next patch, you're gonna see DK werewolves, because you're gonna have everybody be a DK, because DK is really fun. And loads of new werewolves, because werewolf looks really cool. We've got the other skill, which I feel for like 1vx, assuming you will do that, you won't use this. This is fun, but I don't think this is actually practical for outnumbered fighting. Just because, realistically, can you get a 4-second channel off? Probably not. The other one is called Blood Claws. It's Claws of Life. So when you hit people, you heal. And then you get healing based on the dot. So you showed up to 6 enemies, same as before, put a bleed on them, you heal for 43% of the initial hit, and while you heal for number of the damage over time, it's basically max health. So you heal 4, 3, 9 each time. The initial hit grants a stack of blood hunger per enemy hit, and the same as before. So again, what I want to check is there's like burning embers that you can chuck it on lots of people, which I assume you can. Let me just check we've got overhealing turned on. Sure, yeah, we have. Great. So that's one tick there. Yeah. So you can see if we... Yeah, so that Claws of Life is decent. So it's the same thing as before. This is cool. For PvP, like what would we use? Puffin says in YouTube, Soulshine and Deadly. Deadly Strikes and the Lawnmower skill would be fantastic. I also want to stress as well, like this sounds really silly, yeah? But if you look at the actual cost of the skills are really, really cheap. Like, it's not me going mad. This is 935 stamina. Like, look how cheap this is. This is still 4k, that's normal price. 1000 stamina, dirt cheap. 700 stamina. 1000 stamina. These are so cheap stam-wise, like they're really easy to sustain. Like I don't think you'll need like Wretched Vitality or anything because they're really cheap. Like if you go, well, this is 900, yeah? The most expensive skill is 1700. Now if you double that, because you can do a skill twice in a 2-second window, that's 2000. If you have 2000 stam regen, you can spam this infinitely. How easy is it to get over 2000 stam regen? Like werewolf tanks in PvE could literally just have infinite sustain. Obviously you then need to block and stuff, but it's a lot of they're really cheap, aren't they? Friedrich asks how much does the werewolf ult cost now? I think it's 100 ult. So it's 100 ult to get into it, and when you're in there it drains 100 ult every 10 seconds. So basically what you need to do is have enough ult gen on your build to pay for 100 ult. I don't think it's too difficult. I'm going to have a little look at what we need. Like we are using the Direwolves one, which pack leader, where is it? It's down in the passives right at the bottom. So having two, so we've got a 40% reduction here, yeah? But if you had like another werewolf with us, we'd then have obviously more. So reduce the cost of remaining werewolf by 20% for each transformed werewolf or direwolf in your group, including yourself. So that's, we've probably got 60% because we've got 3, there's 2 plus us, that's 3. And we could pretty much stay like this, just doing light attacks. And that was without any ult gen set. So what I want to just check quickly, if people are curious, is can we sustain this and get into the rampage part? Because we are going down. Oh, that's a good thing to check, something. I'll check that in a moment. There, so we are losing ult, as you can see, but not much. And then we can get into this, and I'm assuming we generate ult still. Yeah. So it looks like, just looking at how the mechanic works, yeah, with the direwolves, and you're just attacking constantly, you are going to stay in this forever. Because we've gone to like 330 ult we have. So we've actually gone up by using Rampage. Let's change the morph to the other one. And this will be really good in BGs, by the way, because when you die, you're not in combat when you respawn, and you don't drain any ult if you're out of combat. So we'll have a look at this one in a second. But this is the other morph. This is the one on the thumbnail. So if you saw the thumbnail, this looks menacing. Look how cool that is. Like, if you see a pack of these in Cyrodiil running at you, you will think, oh, like, oh my goodness. Because look, it looks so good. I'm assuming it moves the same, yeah. So it moves exactly the same. Sprint's the same. Oh, honestly, like, yeah. I'm like digging Werewolf. Werewolf looks awesome. So we're just going to go through and see, can we sustain this? So it says transfer into a B sphere in 3 enemies. While transformed, you gain major berserk to 10% damage. The light and heavy attacks apply bleed for 7.5k for over 3 seconds. That's like an extra 2k and a bit of hit. So like 2-4 roughly. While transformed and in combat, ability to generate fury. When you have 1000, this ability becomes Rampage, which increases your damage speed, same as before. So basically this just gives you a bleed. How good is that bleed? 1640, that's quite noticeable. Let's have a look. Oh, that's interesting. If you look at the damage tick, yeah, your ult goes down really quick though in this mode, really quick. So I'm going to hit it once, because what should happen is this should apply the bleed on the first hit, and it should tick on hit 1. Then that hit there twice. But that one did not, I don't think. Yeah, so you can see last time we did it. I think it's just a... Is it graph? When is it? Always struggle to get back onto the normal one. I just want the normal thing. So we'll try that again. Ready. That time it applied both. I don't think it's going to show us. I don't know why it's not. But yeah, so that's there. So it did the 1 tick here, but it didn't actually do the dot. Whereas if we do this here and we let it tick, you critically strike. Okay, that sounds a buff. Okay, so let's try that again then. So I think that applied there. Yeah, so that applied when the fight ends. That applied straight away, that did. But if we did that one, then did another one. Yeah, so it does look like it is actually applying on the first hit, which is good, because that makes a big damage boost for PvP. Shadow in YouTube says, I don't like the weird colour rune markings on the forms. I actually prefer the base brown design. I think the red stuff is... I quite like it, personally. Each of their own. Because I'm thinking from like a balanced perspective. If you see somebody run at you like this, yeah, you know which werewolf they have. Like, yes, one's white, one's brown, black. But the red makes you feel like they're really volatile. Carl says, what rate does the ult drop in werewolf form? So it's 100 ult every 10 seconds, so it's 10 ult a second. It doesn't drain it every second, it drains it in chunks of 100. I'm going to try with 200 ult. Can we get enough rampage to stay in werewolf without losing? So we've got 2-2-1. Looking over here. Ready? We lose 100 in there. And I'll do just like just a range of skills. this is my worry. I'm just looking at this one, yeah? I don't think we're going to get to Rampage. You do generate ult in this. Oh, this is going to be tight. No, yeah, so if you have 200 ult and you werewolf, you can't actually sustain it in Berserking. I'm going to try 500 ult this time. Again, I'm just... So we go down to 400, and then it'll be good to start like... So if we don't get enough Rampage, that means you can't sit in this one in PvP often, which then by default makes the Dire Wolf one like the way to go. Or you might need to use a ult gen set, like Werewolf Hide, or use Bloodspawn, for example. So we're already down to 200. I reckon if we can get into Rampage, we'll probably get enough ult back to sustain it. So we're getting to Rampage now. So we're now in Rampage, which means all our skills are completely free. We can generate Rampage again. Our ult is ticking up. Our sustain is ridiculous. I'm not actually on that sustain. Obviously, I know we've got like... We're down to 200. Okay. I want to just see, can we, like, will we actually drop out of this? Like, how much you need to get into the Rampage quickly? Because it doesn't feel like we're staying in this forever. Okay, back into it again. Because with the Dire Wolves, we had like we could sit in this forever basically, which is really nice. And I think for the sake of losing a dot, the choice between being a werewolf or not, I'm literally just rotating through the buttons, as you can probably tell. Oh, I think we're going to be coming out werewolf in a sec if we're not careful. It's going to be really close. I think we get one more Rampage and then we will lose it. So this is 3 we managed to keep. So if we get to Rampage 3 times, and maybe this might be enough for like our DPS is obviously really bad, but we're just checking how long can you sit in this without like actively spamming the skills that give you rage. Because you're not going to be spamming the hill realistically, are you? We're going to lose 100 ult, yeah, so we're down to 70, 80 already. We might get another one in a moment. Okay, so we've got 5. So far we've managed 5. Which isn't too bad. Do you guys think 5 seems reasonable or not? We might get 6 out of it. Yeah, we'll get 6, maybe 7. Oh no, we might not get the 6. We'd have to spam that hill. We wouldn't do it. We could probably do it if we spam the hill. No, we're out. Yeah, so we got 6 with that. Now, granted, we weren't using. We go to the werewolf skills. One thing I want them to add, like if Zos see this, when you bar swap, have a third where you can like hold it down to put up the werewolf bar. It's really not like annoying not being able to change your skills easily without going to the werewolf line. Like, I'm just being a bit lazy, but yeah, this felt like really hard to stay in werewolf form with this one. So maybe you do need to have different skills. Let's see if there's any skills that would fix this. And yeah, to Carl's question, you do generate ults, but the ult you use to activate that Rampage where you get like free skills, bonus damage. It's quite cool. We need something that says Rampage. Trigger Fury generation when dealing damage. So Fury is what we need. How much Fury does it give us? Okay, I'm going to check this. Yeah, if we run like alt gen stuff, that'd be great, but my thing is you don't have to do that at the moment. And I do want to check the class masteries, but it's like late where I am. Oh, joys of making videos. So I think what doesn't help, this doesn't tell you how much it gives, unless I'm going mad. It just says triggers Fury generation. Now I assume the Fury generation is based on this. Yeah, I don't think you'll need both either, but like, werewolves normally use the pounce to keep the ability to stay in werewolf much longer. So you can devour corpses, gives you ult. If you're a werewolf berserker, each tick activates Fury generation. Fury is generated by using werewolf abilities while in combat. Once you're 1000, you gain this, which increases. I don't mean to be weird. Oh, maybe the dot does it then. Yeah, okay, so it looks like the dot generates the thing for us. In which case, that will be a lot easier to say. Because you get this dot, you get this extra tick of Fury generation throughout. Yeah, so I think you'll need to use this one. So we got right down to 100. Yeah, I've turned it off at the moment. Yeah, so I think if you're going to play with the Berserker Werewolf, you have to have Feral Pounce. Like this Feral, the dot, it looks like is what applies the Fury. So when you hit somebody with the dot, you get this extra tick of Fury each time it ticks, which is like an extra werewolf skill, which keeps you up charging that rampage to get into that form to then basically have free werewolf form for 20 seconds, and then you can rinse and repeat. So I think with this, we'll probably sustain it just. Hircines Rage, is there anything in here that will give us more? I don't think there's no, nothing. No. This gives double Fury, so again, you'll probably use this anyway for damage. Ferocious War. That's Blood Hunger. That won't give us anything there. So look for anything that says Fury. Now that I kind of understand what... No, nothing there. I don't think this has anything. Oh, this generates Fury. So maybe... So you could use this. Does this generate Fury? I don't think it does. Now, I'm just talking to myself like a crazy person. But yeah, I think... So let's see this then. How does the Claw Fury work? As in for the Rampage. So we're going to pop into our Wealth quickly. Our Rampage is pretty low. Let's put our skill on. So that counted as 1. Yeah, so this doesn't seem too bad, actually. If you have a couple of the skills that are made for the Fury generation, then you can obviously then get in. But yeah, it feels like if you want to play as the Berserker, which is a lot more damage, you might need another sort of ult, whether it's like Minor Heroism maybe, or a set. And you probably want to build around having at least Pounce for Feral. Fury's not really needed here. Or if you want like simple, just go with the Direwolf. It's way easier to sustain. Okay, I'm going to put a poll up now because we've done a lot of werewolf stuff. Do you want me to keep testing the werewolf and try different sets on it, or do you want me to go and show some class masteries? So it's going to be literally werewolf or mastery. Dark Bro says, the red lion's on the werewolf. It's something integrated with that evolution of the black werewolf. So I'm going to give the poll, let's say 3 or 4 minutes. And whilst we do it, I want you to just look at some sets quickly. So one thing I want to check, really, and this will be just a really easy thing we can do. Chuck on Oaken Soul. It gives you minor heroism at all times. Okay, it's a really simple thing. So let's go to mythic items. High Isle, I think it was. Yeah, Oaken Chad. Love a bit of Oaken Chad. This is minor heroism, if I remember. Yeah, there is. So that is going to be more alt gen. Can we then... So it started with 100 alt. $116 alt. Gonna get quite close. Oh, we might need one decisive as well. We're going to go into the... we should be able to use CP and potions. Okay, if we get over 100 ult with this, which I think we're going to just creep it. Yeah. So it does look like, in all honesty, that if you have major heroism, so minor heroism, you will be able to sustain this. Just. It is very, very tight, I'm not going to lie. Like, I literally just had enough. It is really tight. And that is using... let's go down to a werewolf. That's not using any double rage from this, and it's only using that. So it's really, really tight. Gun says, can we use are we able to use CP, potions and food? I will double check that. I thought you could. It's very easy to check. Grab the food. Let's also grab some potions too. We'll get some potions. If you know it's like me, I'm gonna have you try potions. It's what I do. So I'll also grab some poisons too. Okay, so we can double check both things. Yeah, I do think, Gun, that you're being trolled personally, but I could be wrong on this. So the easiest way to do this is... Oh, what a hit. Cool. Just fill my inventory with a load of junk. Okay. We're going to go into, like, the fight. Okay. And then we're going to push our food. Yeah, so we can use food. We just did that. And I can use potion to put the buffs on. Okay, and I'm assuming poisons will proc too. Yeah, and we can use poisons. Okay, so that answers that question nice and quick. A killer says, do masteries work in werewolf form? Gum said it was a game room 20k sub guy who said that. I don't want to like criticize other people. There's a lot of misinformation, and unless you really jump on like test like I do, I just go through and I really showcase what you can see. So you can see it all here. Like, well, I'll probably make a video highlighting the key changes, but yeah, it works. Some of the passives, mastery wise, possibly will work. So applying chill, this could work if you have a frost glyph, for example, because you've got a frost glyph on your weapon. We'll check weapons work. I need to check that actually. So let me go a weapon. So we've got an Inferno staff. Now the really easy way to see if this changes, yeah, is if I go and get 2 weapons of the same set. What they'll do. And we're going to go for Destruction Staff and then 2-hander. And then bow. So previously the 2H stuff didn't work. So we're going to go for a Lightning Staff. This buffs direct damage, so that's really easy to check. And this buffs damage done. And then we're going to go for the 2H and go for a Greatsword and a Maul. So these, you'll see physical stat changes on our page. So we're in werewolf form at the moment. We've got 900 pen. Let's put on the Maul. So our pen has not increased. Okay. Let's get out of werewolf form and then so our pen is 3,000. So when we go into werewolf form, our weapon passives still don't work. So that's worth noting. Okay, that's good to check that. I remembered the bow was really weird though. It was the only exception to this. Let me see if this changes our passives. What is direct damage? So that is... Which one's got a direct damage here? So Nash. So 4612. Let's change that to Inferno. 4612. So again, this doesn't make any difference here. The weapons don't make any difference. The bow, when I tested before, did. We're going to grab the Asylum Bow. Again, because the same sets. And the only difference the bow gave you was the roll dodge passive. So in the bow, you had hasty retreat. Yeah, see, look, that works. So if you're werewolf in PvP, you want to be a bow still because you get the speed boost. Is that the only thing that actually carries over? Move pretty quick though with it. So that's just worth like checking. Just checking with chat. The masteries should work, but we need to see which will be best for this. The execute the Sulk one will be fantastic. Like Sulk one looks super good. That's just generic, it's very strong. Frigid says you lose 20% damage. Oh, you're talking about necro stuff. And then Unseen Gamer says, do you play on PS5? I personally play on PC EU. I just use a controller. That's just me. But if you're on PTS, I'm more than happy to fight. Okay, the poll keeps saying werewolf, so that's fine. I've got stuff I want to test anyway. Now, base weapon wise, Friedrich is right that you lose a little bit of damage. It's not huge, but it is some damage. So it's 3538. You can see it's here. We change this to the Maul. It's 300 damage. Change to the Greatsword. To the bow. So we do lose some damage. It is noticeable. Gun says, can we turn into werewolf and turn off the werewolf anytime we want? Yes. Off it goes. The only thing with the werewolf is that it is it's 100 ult to get into it, and then it's so it's 100 ult to get into it, and then it uses 100 ult every 10 seconds. So if you have like ult gen, you're okay. What we found having like played it for a little bit is if you use the Berserker, you can't sustain this and stay in this forever. Like, it's really hard. You have to use the Rampage mechanics So this Fury mechanic, you have to use this. You have to have Hersine's Rage in this morph. You need this morph, and maybe Fury. So you have to really play around the Rampage, or you go like Pounce, Rage, and get minor heroism somewhere in your build from a set. Those are kind of the things you're going to struggle with. Friedrich is thinking what I'm thinking. So we're on the same line here, Friedrich. People might be going down, why are you a Warden base class if you're a werewolf? There's this passive down here. You gain 333 weapon and spell damage for each status effect on the target. Now, as a werewolf, we've got Saundered, that's 1. We've got the Hemorrhage, that's 2. Poison Glyph. And then like Fire Glyph, that's now 4. That's like an extra 1200. So on a Warden, you get an extra 1200 damage on your werewolf stuff, which is obscene. So that's where I was going with it. That was my thinking. And if you use something like Serpent's Disdain, where your status effects last 20 seconds, you're going to have this up really easily. We could then put on, just seeing if there's anything else that would work from Warden. Gunn said he hated having to get 500 ult to get a werewolf. Yeah, that was pretty annoying. Do weapon traits work? That's the other thing actually. Let's jump out werewolf. Like they should work, I think. If the weapon traits don't work, then we obviously need to. Dual wield becomes less attractive in many ways. So let's get a transmutation station. Place this bad boy. There we go. Friedrich says they don't work. I didn't think they did, but it's good. They've changed stuff. I'd rather just check to be like sure. Yeah, the werewolf has no sustain issue. Unseen Game was like talk of tonal constancy. That's literally what I was thinking. But talk of tonal constancy on my sorcerer is going to be broken as hell. Like it's going to be so broken. Like, I'm so excited for it. So we're going to go and check this. We've changed this to be sharpened. So when we were in werewolf form before, our pen was 900, and this should change in a moment. So the fact that this has not changed, yeah, means traits work. It just means that like the weapon passives, the heavy weapon and stuff, that won't work. So that won't work. This doesn't work, and the dual wield one, that one doesn't work, and this one doesn't work. And the reason why is because you don't have it equipped. It turns it off you. So you're like, your werewolf isn't holding it, so you can't wield it, so you can't get this bonus. So then it is literally down to, do you want to have do you want to run a melee weapon and get slightly more damage, or do you go for the bow and get the roll dodge? And you get the extra speed and roll dodge. That's kind of the difference. Yeah, I will probably go for bow for PvP personally. I just think having speed is nice. The poll is like quite split between keep on the werewolf, go for the mastery. My thing is, let's do 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's go with what mastery would be best for werewolf, because I think people want to try both. Like realistically, I would. So if you go through the warden, what does the warden give us, mastery wise? That's worth running, because all these passives work when you're werewolf form, but the issue is that some of them are like linked to being in werewolf form. And in my experience, Sorcerer and Templar were like the best ones for werewolf because they had passives that just always worked. The Necro had some good dot passives. DK's had a big rework, so we need to check those. So this wouldn't work in werewolf. This would not work in werewolf. This would not work in werewolf. This would not work in werewolf. So you got an entire skill line that will not work in werewolf whatsoever. Green balance. When you heal yourself up ally with green balance ability, that won't work in werewolf. That won't work in werewolf. That won't work in werewolf. when you heal yourself an ally, this will work. So we get 10% health as a warden so far from the passive, so it's not great. This is looking pretty bad. You've got an increased chance to apply shield save defense and increases the damage by 404. This does scale over weapon damage, so you could use like a frost glyph and then get this quite easily, but it's not worth it. Just be a Templar. That won't work. That won't work. And that will work, but that's not that useful. So yeah, Warden for Werewolf, bad. But the Mastery ones though, because again it comes down to Masteries, this isn't going to help us in all honesty. That will help us if we build around this. This could be quite good. Upgrading it, we won't get that. It reduces damage taken by step. This could work too, so we could probably stick these two. So if you go for a werewolf, we'll put this in the chat here. I don't know if I can pin it. As a warden werewolf, I would recommend just my initial thoughts. I cannot spell tonight, it's late. A wild adaptation and green keepers hide. Yeah, so I'm gonna put that in there. Can I pin it? Yeah, I can. It's great. So if you're going to be werewolf and you're going to use like mastery on it and a warden, these are the two you want. This bit means more damage if you use dual wield, poison, for example, and you would use probably a fire glyph. Because they're both, you've got poison's execute, fire's burning, both good damage ones. And then this means you take less damage from them as well. So you get like more damage and less damage. And that's going to be probably 1200 roughly. And 15% damage reduction, okay? That's what Warden gives you. I'm going to switch to Sorcerer. I know Sorcerer is really good. Killer is talking about Rallying Cry and Werewolf, which I think would be really fun. Let's go Dark Elf again. And let's go with Sorcerer. We can also look at the Masteries too. Silk Mastery. Dark says, can you activate all of the class mastery passive skills? No, you can have 2 at most. So with the idea is that you have to like mix and match them.
They haven't even done anything yet.
Okay, we're gonna hop on over to here. Friedrich says, can you try the red? Oh, that's a good. Yeah, that should work. Red diamond should work with this. With the 2 dark veto, just worth stressing that when you have them, not all of them are compatible with each other. Gum's asking, what should I go with those? Dual Wield and Salt can open with Rally. Rally's decent on any build, to be honest. Dual Wield will make sense for Werewolf if you want more damage. The traits don't work, it's just melee, so you could go 2-hander. There's no real difference between the 2. Unless you want to go like 1 Sharp and 1 Nernhoned, which is probably the better for damage. And then, or you go with Bow. If you did Rallying Cry, Oaken Soul, I would probably go Bloodspawn on that build, Gum. I do Rallying Cry, Bloodspawn, Oaken Soul, and like 3 pieces agility. That's my thoughts on it. We're on the Sorcerer, so we can look at their mastery, look at the Werewolf again, and go like, which Werewolf masteries, class mastery should we use? Assuming we're going to say it's a Sulk. So I'm going to grab the item we used a minute ago. So what I like to do with a lot of my testing is I generally grab the... It's not from Solstice, sorry. There. It's Necromancer. Talk of the Last Aided King. This is basically a PvP build in 1 item. It's really, really good. Yeah, for the thing that Gum's thinking of, I would probably go with Sorry, just trying to. Whereas. Yeah, I'll probably go with Rallying Cry, and you either go with like Bloodspawn for ult gen to try and keep in the werewolf form easier, or you go with like Bloodspawn and Agility, or you go with like Penetration. So that's Shattered Fate. It's quite good, for example. The one thing, Gum, to worth stress, and just people generally, is it's really hard to stay in werewolf form if you're not using Direwolf. So if you don't have the pack leader one, you're going to struggle. As well. So there we go. Potentes should work. I want to check those kind of things. So let's go with... Let's grab it, actually. It's a serial set, isn't it? There we go. You can tell I've played the game way too much when I know where the sets come from. So we go axe and just grab some jewel. So okay. A job one, then really quick, is to check, does Potentes work with this? Okay. So the ult is normally 100 ult. It's now 70. Oh, that is huge. Oh my goodness, that is massive. Because you've got the sorcerer passives up here as well. Is it down here? I think it's rebate. It might be passing. You get this 15% reduction here. And then you got Potentes, which is another 15%. Okay, let's go Imperial. Let's chuck that into the mix too. We are 72 ult. Let's jot this down quick. 72 ult. Because the werewolf has so easy to sustain, like Sulk seems very, very good with this. We need to get a change. So let's go get, where is race change. We're going to change this to Imperial. Because Imperial has cost reduction built on their kit, which means if we can change this to Imperial, that will then help us out, hopefully. Friedrich says, do the direwolves count as summons? That's also something else I want to check. I would assume so, which gives us more max health. Like Sorcerer seems really good for Werewolf. You've got great passives. Werewolf has enough damage built in the kit, like more than enough. And you got the masteries on top of it. Werewolf is looking to play. So where was the? Okay, so that's on 72. Let's grab these now. So again, for Werewolf, more health is very helpful. There says, of course, Sorcerer is good, I think. Yeah, so that's 68. It's not that at this point. There's not a huge reduction. Let's take off Potentes or Potence. So you went from 68 back up to 80. Okay, so and then if we don't have, so as a base Imperial Werewolf, so you got 20 cheap. That's really cheaper. Yeah, I know they're multiplicative. So obviously, the more you stack, the less you get out of it. I wonder. Let me look at Dragon. I'm just like curious now how low can we get it. I think that's an overland set. The Dragon. It's a heavy armor set. So that's 15% reduction there. I'm just seeing like how low can we get this down. Because I'm just like, will you actually do this? Probably not. But besides, so that's 68, and then we'll chuck on the Potentes. They should go down to like what's 58 or something. 58. So yeah, that's quite a big reduction. It's literally half, but we are utilizing 2 sets. So yeah, I wouldn't do that personally. Let's put on the werewolf skills. So we wanted to check pack leader. Did pack leader work with the sorcerer passives? Okay. The sorcerer has a passive called expert summoner. Increase your magic and then increase your max health by 5% if you have a permanent pet active. Okay. So we'll put on the usual. We've got 29,000. I don't think going to werewolf form increases your max health. Okay, that's interesting. I know how it did go up a little bit. That's 30,004. So 30,400. Let's change this back quickly. We'll go to the base. Gum says, I'm pretty sure Alt or Dumb will be a better choice for werewolf since we're going to use dual wield and Dumb has flame resist for DK enemies. Flame resist is very, very good. It's very strong at the moment. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like that passive does work, Friedrich, which is it's just worth checking. Because again, if you stack health, it sounds silly, but 5% when you've got 40k health is going to be quite a big increase. So it's going to add up. It's like an extra almost 1,000 at this point. Okay, let's look at passive-wise. Reduce, that's just fine. When you class a blood magic ability, you heal. You get 10% max resource. So if we go to the masteries, as a sorcerer mastery, upgrade the rank 2 of blood magic with any ability with a cost and restore resources. This seems obscene. Sorry, that seems really stupid. Yeah, I've got the Dragon Guard set already on here, unseen. I don't think it's worth it personally. But that is literally 300 stam. I'm assuming that will work with werewolf abilities. Let's chuck that there. Yeah, the blood magic is applying, which is nice. And blood magic. Sorry, that's so stupid. This bottom bit doesn't seem to apply. So it's not. They're not, but because we're using the mastery, it works with any ability. So you can tell that because you got this little icon here, and our magicka is just shot up. So when we're out of combat, our magicka will go down in a sec. It's 23,000, and now it's down to 21,000. So yeah, this is very good for werewolf because not only that. Do you want to hear me? Like this is actually busted because this blood magic heals you every single time you do something. I don't think it's just that. I think it should be every werewolf ability because they're just all abilities. Yeah, there you go. That's procced it. That's procced it again. If I hit somebody, that's procced that. That's procced it. That's procced it. Yeah, so every single one procs it. Do I have overhealing on this? Okay, I need to... Bit of a weird one. We need to go for science. What I want to check, because blood magic has two parts to it. Part 1 is this bonus like resource. Very, very strong. Part 2 is healing when you use blood magic skills. Now, I assume the heal part is only on the dark magic part. So I think this part only works when you are actually using these skills, whereas this bit works all of the time. But it's worth checking that. So we're going to pop down. I just want to take some damage. And then that way we can see, like, if we use our skills, if we heal from them, then we know that that blood magic is also applying. And if that's the case, that's going to be very, very potent. Evie in Twitch says, hey Dan, been a long time no see. Yeah, it's been quite a while. I will then try the Lightning Mastery killer afterwards. But at the moment, Sorcerer is looking like the play for werewolf shenanigans. Like, it looks so good. Oh, that's interesting. You lose werewolf form when you change locations. Let something hit us. I'm just gonna go for the fear, okay? Damage us, get damage, there you go. We'll go for the fear. Now we got a 3k heal from that. Now I'm going to just run away from this. Let me just die, because I don't think this heals us. This doesn't heal us. And we're not going to die from these. They don't do enough damage. Let's get a group of them. My thinking is that if the blood magic procs, as I would think it does, that we can just die, because I haven't done anything else. And we'll be able to check the healing. I think it did heal as well, Friedrich. And if it does, every skill would heal you, is what I'm getting at.
From the sides.
Like, every single skill would heal. And if you're getting 2,000 health every single time you do a damage skill, that's obscene. Like, that is going to be so strong.
Circle around.
But I need to die for the combat metrics to like update. No, I don't want to get like any other damage skill sources on it, like mess up the results. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Look, blood magic. So that is so stupid. I can't get over. Look how cheap the ult is. Sorry, like it's so cheap. It's so cheap. Well, the blood magic, if you're unfamiliar, the blood magic scales of health. So you could literally stack like 40k health and get like an obscene amount of healing when you're doing stuff. So look, heal. Now for some reason, this heal only shows, I need to get hit here, that's the 3k heal there. Like, it will work on any, it will just work. Gums, like, we should end the stream here. People are going to abuse the hell out of it. Like, well, the killers, like, this is where I'm thinking of going. I'm wondering, like, do the dots ticket? I know blood magic is when you cast an ability. Well, that gives you crazy old gen, that does. That was like crazy old gen, we ate that. Johnny says, one Tamriel werewolf was OP. How does this compare? This is like this is like that patch, but on steroids. Like, a good kind of comparison is if you played Scalebreaker and you remembered how OP dots were. This is like that, but for werewolves. Like, that's how it feels. The sustain is through the roof. Like, if you can't sustain that in your skills, don't know what you're doing wrong, personally. The dirt cheap, you have so much sustain built in the kit, you don't need much. And then you add in the fact that you've got really hard hitting skills and you've got class masteries that you can abuse even more. It's gonna get stupid very, very quick. And I love stupid. Like, I enjoyed that part of the game. So we have found that this is broken as hell for werewolf, like stupidly broken. Within a font of power, upgrade your exploitation passive to work with any sorcerer ability. That won't work for us. When you deal damage, you have a 1% chance for every 1% missing health to... this is basically the implosion. So if you played before, this is old implosion. Essentially, you do more damage. It's a free damage one. Well, well, beginning to use the sorcerer ability, that won't work. Casting and damage shielding yourself, that won't work. So we would have to use these two for people curious. Let's grab some ult. So what we're going to check now is when you do damage, you have a 1% chance for every missing to do some shock damage. They have loads of health. I don't think we might have to go to the dungeon just to fight something a little bit squishier. Because I don't want to wait. Yeah, that's going to take bloody ages, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to skip that. And we're going to go and fight something out in the world quick again. Because I want to check which one we're going to use. I think I know like Gum's really thinking about which sets to use. I think with the passive like class mastery at the moment and that salt healing, I don't think you need a defense set. I'm going to check that too, Friedrich. So Friedrich's asking, will the implosion thing check, and will the blood magic passive check work from the pets? I don't think the pet bit will. But the lightning should from direwolves, unless it might not because they're not your damage. It depends on how they do it. That'll be worth checking too. So we'll try it first without. Oh yeah, we've done some pretty good testing, got some really good results with this. Nom 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 nom. Unseen's gonna jump for a bit. It's been a pleasure, mate. Yeah, that's nice. So lightning procced on him. Let me see if I want to see. Will the dots proc it? Or for free? Yeah, that's a little lightning there. I don't know if you saw that little zap.
Move to flank.
It doesn't proc often though. It definitely procs.
From the sides! Go around!
I'm just seeing like the chances. Seems really inconsistent. Or maybe there's no like obvious. I'll check combat metrics. With that, our ult jump is crazy though. Like with this stuff, it's ridiculous. But we know we did get it. We are getting it very. So that's really nasty. Okay, looking at just passives that the stalk gives. Cost reduction across the board, great. Sprint cheaper too, and CC break. This is really OP. That would also work. When you cast a dark magic ability, we won't get that one. We won't get that one. We will get this one. Won't get that one. We do get this one. And storm calling, yeah, yes, and yes, but that's a 0. And we get loads of passives as a Sulk, and we get these 2 OP mastery passives. Like these are really, really nuts. Let's put on the werewolf with the pets, and then we can have a look to see, do we go for, does the pack leader proc the other one? Top Orc says, hey Dan, you alright? Yeah, I'm good mate, it's been a while. I need my little werewolves to do their magic. Can they proc the thing? I think Imperial Race not just for the small ult reduce. The ult reduction though is on every single time, so you have to pay for this ult every single time. Now in PvE it's obviously not going to do anything, but it is 100 ult you lose every single tick. So that's 179. So we should go down to 79 if we weren't in this class. Assuming we can stay alive. We went down to 21. So I do think Imperial is really good. Because that ult thing, you're saving constantly. You're saving... You go to the cost reduction, if you had that at base share, you are literally down to like 80 ult. So you save 20 ult every 10 seconds. Let's move here and see if they procced any of that stuff. The ult killing is on a cooldown though, so just factor that in. Yeah, these did like they didn't proc that passive whatsoever. I'm gonna go and I actually do need to get my ult up quick. Nom 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 nom. I'm gonna just weaken these a little bit. We'll see if we can see the proc, okay? No. Yeah, I don't think the little wolves can actually... Yeah, I don't think they can proc the effect. So what we're checking for people curious, like this, we've gone into quite minutiae we have. But it's very clear that this, the class mastery static reverberation doesn't apply to werewolves, it has to be you. Which is kind of what I expected, to be fair. Like most pet stuff, it works weird like that. Johnny says, this looks amazing. Fiji's like, no lightning wolves. No, sadly not. Is there anything else in here we need to check whilst we have it? Because this is looking pretty dope. If we took off the crazy ult stuff we have, as an Imperial, our ult is 80, so we do save 20 ult with a Sulk. No, I'm going to just change this once more, just to see if the saving is worth it. Owl is asking, what are the green lines on the werewolf? The werewolf one has two morphs, so one is like pack leader, so it's the bold one. It's the white werewolf. You have green lines to show you get like speed and like sustained essentially, so it helps you stay alive and stay in werewolf longer. The other one, that's really weird. I did that. The other one is like red for like high damage. Know the difference. We're going to get another race change. We're just literally race changing this. Fridge says, can't you choose your werewolf skin now? I don't think you can. I thought it was linked to the... Well, I could be wrong, but I thought it was linked to... Can't wait to ask. I thought it was linked to like the morph you chose. Oh, I can have a look in a moment. I'm just looking at the kind of the essential passives for the ult from the different races. So this was 80, it's now 85. So the Imperial reduces it by 5 every 10 seconds. Which is not huge, it's basically like an extra tick of ult. But the markings just literally tell you which one it is against other people. And then as the orc, we get more stam, more health. When you deal damage, you get this every 4 seconds, and you get increased sprint. It reduces cost to sprint and makes you sprint faster, which could work nice as a werewolf because you are sprinting lots. Radical in Twitch says their skill styles for the skins. Oh, okay. I'll need to have a little look. Change style. So there is black form, ashen form, white form. Where do we get these from? There might be a box in here somewhere for it. Here? Not that one. That's on. Okay, so we'll grab the werewolf ones. Now I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's check. Do they change whilst we're in it? We've seen the base one quite a lot. Let's put on black, okay? Okay, so that's cool. Can we change it whilst we're in there? I don't think we can. Oh, you can. Oh my goodness, that's cool. Ashen. So you can change the colour of the fur, basically. You go like werewolf, or you can go sort of a grey, browny colour. Or you go like white. And the default for Pack Leader is white. But if you guys really don't like the white on Pack Leader, and the way you can tell is by the green markings. That's the markings tell you the colour of the morph you got. That's cool. I like that. That's a nice subtle change in the made. Because it gives you a bit of choice as a player. I would go black. Black and red would look awesome. What does the white and red look like? I'm spending way too much time messing around with this. Gun says, can you change eye cosmetics? Maybe. I'm not. Okay, we'll wolf into this now. You got this bad boy. Hey, look at him. He looks so good. Let's change style. That doesn't look that good. That's the brown one. The white one doesn't look that good either, actually. It's not bad. I think the white one looks... If you don't like the red, the white one's probably the easiest one to hide the red from. Friedrich's like, that's what PTS is for. I don't normally play with fashion on Elder Scrolls. I don't have the patience for it. But I do think it's really cool. Like, this looks awesome. So what we're going to do is we've done a lot of testing on the Sorcerer. I think we can agree Sorcerer, Werewolf, broken as hell. Class Masteries are fantastic for this build. You can make a really good Werewolf as a Sorcerer. I do think if Zos see this needs nerfing. This conservation of energy, this needs a 4-second cooldown. This is going to be ridiculous in PvP. Because every skill you do on a Sorcerer, every single skill will heal the Sorcerer 2,500 health. I'm just from a PvP balance perspective. If a Sorcerer is healing basically 1,000 health every time they do a skill against you, it's a lot of healing for free. Whereas I think this bit, absolutely fine. I don't think the extra healing is needed. I could be completely wrong. I'm going to switch now to a different class. So it's very clear people want to see more of the werewolf. So what I'll do is I'll put a poll up. Yep. So we'll end that poll because that's very clear. 53 votes, that's like. And it'll be basically what classes should we check first, okay? We got DK, which I'm gonna do that in a second. It's new, so we've got Nightblade, Templar, Necro, and then we've got Arc. We're gonna hop onto the DK. We'll make a DK quick. New character, Dragonite. Now for this DK, we're gonna DK mastery. I'm just thinking for a werewolf, Bresson has loads of mag regen, Orc is speed, Red Guard weapon damage, also weapon mastery, so you get cost reduction weapon skills. This is sustain and damage. This is speed. We don't really need speed. This is crit chance. This is potion healing. This is fire resist and damage. And this is ult gen. So I think you're probably, as a werewolf, you're probably going to be best going for a dark elf against DKs, or an orc if you want to run around really quick. So out of the three, I'll probably go as an orc personally. I think that's the most generic one. But there are some merits for like high elf for the extra stam sustain or the mag sustain. So that's what I'd do out of the ones. Friedrich says Necro could work too if devouring a corpse is considered as a consuming a corpse. That's. But how often do you do it in PvP? Like PvE, this stuff will completely work, yeah? Not an issue. I don't have any issue with this working in PvE. But if you're trying to PvP on a werewolf, which corpses are you going to eat? If you're building the healing and surviving around that. Fairy says, what does a Nord do? What Nord does with werewolf? So Nord will give you armor, which is quite good. It's quite hard to get armor as a werewolf. It would also give you ult when you get hit, which will help you stay in werewolf form longer, and it gives you more health. So a Nord's a pretty decent one for like staying in werewolf and for staying alive in werewolf. An Orc is like a more offensive version where you move quicker and you do more damage because you've got weapon and spell damage. So those are kind of like the differences between the twos. We need to grab the werewolf maxer. I hope they do this with vampire. Like what they've done with werewolf is fantastic. They need to do this and give vampire, the same love. This is so good. Johnny's like, we used to have it back in the day. Then the patch came and destroyed it. I remember the whole werewolves guild. They were so good. Like I used to do one, and it was like Werewolf Wednesday. You should jump on Wednesday, just run around with a pack of people. Is really cool. Looking at DK, what does DK bring to the werewolf kit? Okay, so combustion. When you apply burning, you need ardent flames. This won't work. Dealing damage. This won't work. Increase the chance of burning. This will work, but not massively. So bad. This will work. Get more healing. It's not looking good so far. You get block. You're not going to be blocking as a werewolf. Increase your damage done and AoEs, and again that's to get a little bit of bonus damage. This won't help us. This won't help us. This might help us actually, because you're using the ult. And when it's charged, you fire it. No, we need to. I want to check this. Does this automatically apply a free sustain? Okay, I need to test that. This is for science, because that will change how good the masteries are for this build. And I think it was meant to be Nightblade. Yeah, MB short for Nightblade. Okay. They've got all our little buffs on. So let's go down to a good old werewolf, grab this bad boy. Okay, so we're going to sit in werewolf down here. And what I'm going to check is the storm passive. So from the DK, you've got the storm's voice. When you cast an ult, you restore health, yeah? Magicka and stamina for every ult. Werewolf drains ult it just drains it for you. So you've got 1900 there, yeah? And we can check it quite easily, because we should get a 1900 heal in a moment. If it procs. No. So that didn't. Yep, I'm gonna then do it. I'm gonna just roll, okay? Yeah, it doesn't look like that Storm Voice procs. So that's worth checking. If we go to the combat log, go for sustain. Yeah. So that's when you reuse it for the rampage, we can try that. I need to just generate enough rampage. So let's quickly check that. And we'll need Pat Leader for this. We need that one. That one. That's free healing. So those are the skills you use for PvP. People curious? Just curious, is the volume of the game really loud? Obviously I've put it up louder than normal. I didn't want it to be like deafening. Oh, I need to get my resources back. It's good, but music is so loud. Oh, is it? I will turn the music down. Why is the music so loud? Okay, is the music better now? So we're just gonna get into our blood rage. Yeah, cheers for that. So I use speakers, I do, when I play, and the music doesn't actually play out. John, you're Australian? No, I'm British, mate. So, let me... Okay, so did we get a resource sustain from that rampage? It'd be right near the bottom. Don't see the Storm's Voice on here, and it didn't feel like I got it either. Yeah, no, so that's quite disappointing actually. It's a shame because it would have been cool if it did, because then this would give DK another like reason to be a werewolf, because this is like free sustain built in then with this constant. Yeah, so that's a shame, but maybe they'll change that. I think this should work personally. A Lady Bat says, love the new werewolf design. It looks dope. Yeah, werewolf looks so good. Yeah, so Killer says werewolf uses Fury, not ult. But the werewolf has this drain, so this is draining ult just by sitting in werewolf, this is consuming ult. Which I assume this doesn't work with Balorg then. So if we put on Balorg, that would be a really good way to check if there's an inconsistency. Because if Balorg works with this, which it shouldn't, in theory, then we know that there's a problem with passive. Again, we're not worried about traits and stuff, we're just checking things. So when you use an ultimate ability, you gain... Because Balorg's really telegraphed. So that drops down and Balorg suddenly fires. We then know that... I'm just wait, no, you say Balorg didn't fire. Yeah, Free just like consuming and draining are probably two different effects. They are, but the game, how the game says it works and how the game actually works doesn't always line up, I find. So you have like some really weird niche mechanics and like oddities that things don't work as you think. So that's why I like to check. You also get armor, so you'll get landslide. Whenever you deal damage, you can stack a landslide. This increases damage done by 10%. So I assume we'll get this. So when you go into werewolf, you do get it. Are we getting landslide? Yeah, we are. We were getting landslide down, okay? So we are getting landslide, which is good. This helmet is called Balog, I think. Yeah, so we've got the landslide, which we could build around this. You got off the peak. When you deal damage, that won't work. The 10% crit will though, and then dealing that won't work either. Okay, so let's look at the mastery now. So we've got here's the landslide. Let nothing stop you. Improve your landslide passive to increase the potency of your damage done, healing done, and damage shields by 1%. So in theory, it should double the landslide passive. Does it update on there? No, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm gonna get landslide to 5. I only got. It does go to 5, which just takes a while. Okay, so we're at 5, and then our light attacks are doing 3, 7, 1, 6. I need to wait for the. Oh no, we've got. Let's get up to 10. Yeah, I'm spamming the claws of life. So let me then go for this one over here. So 3, 1, 7, 2. Okay. And then with the class mastery, you can take it out. I'm just checking if that 1% boost applies to landslide again, so you get 2% damage out of it. And then, oh, damn it. Yeah, we are getting more heals. It's whether we get more damage. That's what I want to check, because I'm curious about that. Landslide takes ages to charge. So once we get to 10, we'll do the same thing. We'll hit the other one at the back. My feeling though, for how long it takes for this to charge, I'm already feeling DK Werewolf not to play. I think you're like, this is some riveting gameplay, Dan. Going back and forward, hitting these. Okay. 2692. So 2644. So it does work. So what we've been able to check is this passive does also give you another 1% damage boost, so another 10% damage, which is quite nice. Booming Voice, this will not work with what we're doing, but this lets your activating the Ring of the Storm, gives you basic regen. Wildfires, when you're Dragonite damage over time, that won't work. Each second you're embracing, you can increase the amount of damage you can block up to 5 times. That's a 30% block. Blocking damage has a 20% chance to restore stamina. This can occur once every block's cost. Yes. Then lead from the front. Add Fate and that won't work. So I think DK Werewolf, not a good idea. Like, very few passives actually work with what you're trying to do, in all honesty. And most of these don't work. So I'm going to switch character. Killer's asking about, is the werewolf kit now bleed It's a mix between bleed and physical damage. I haven't seen much poison or like disease in there. Let's look at the poll. The poll says Templar or Necro. Good Templar, because I know Templar's good. Templar has some stuff I want to mess around with as well. We'll go Volk, go grab a Templar. Templar Mastery. And we're able to kind of show that's a really bad spell in Mastery. Oh. Always put in the template. On top left. Sometimes you forget to do it. And when it changes, double check things go back how you want. So we are a Templar, Sorcerer, Orc. Let's go. Feng says a Necro increases the dot. It will. Because Pounce and Carnage should be bleed. I'll have a look. Killer, I'll put the skills back in. We'll have a look. So if you just joined the stream, what we're doing is checking all the different skills, how they work for the class masters, what's really, really good, and what should, I'm gonna say what's broken basically. that's the only way. And Sulk Werewolf is broke. But yeah, I'm gonna be over the next couple days. I'll be putting out some guides about Werewolf and just stuff in the PTS. I'd like to know what you guys think of like me doing early access guides or like videos, because I don't want to put stuff out that's going to be wrong like in the future. So I've always kind of been like waiting to week 3 for guides and like what you could do. But it does feel very exciting with what you can now make. So I'm curious if you would be interested in seeing like a breakdown of how a werewolf would look on a sorcerer with sets and stuff. I'd like to know what you think, if it's worth doing it or not. We need to grab the weird thing. It's a consumable, isn't it? There it is, Werewolf Maxer. The killer says, I see, trying to see if Blood Drinker is worth it. Blood Drinker is pretty cool. We're just checking the Templar masteries and the Templar passives with Werewolf. Because again, you could mix and match these, but the passive class mastery passives are very good. Well, they're very, very good. So, it'd be interesting. So let's grab the Werewolf. I'll put the pack leader on. Just in all my little things like usual. Okay. We've got a werewolf. A Friedrich says Blood Drink is more of a Warden set. Yeah, Blood Drink is good because the Warden's got the cut and dive, which is like the cliff racer that has bleed on it. It's quite easy to proc. Damage wise, I assume this is physical. Yeah, this is physical pack leader. Werewolf Berserker is bleed. The physical bleed there. Pounce is bleed. Brutal Pounce is still bleed. And that's still bleed on the AoE. Feral Pounce is bleed. And the dot is the initial hit is also bleed. Nash is physical damage. And then the back hit is bleed damage. And then Rip and Tear is physical damage and bleed on the second hit. Then Bloody Nash is physical damage on the initial hit and bleed on the second with a bleed bonus hit. Rending Claws is physical damage with a bleed dot. And Claw of Fury is physical damage with... Yeah, that's just physical damage, that one. There's no like additional bit. And Blood Claws, which I assume is just blood then, the name. Physical damage with a bleed dot that heals you. So it's all bleed. There's like no poison in this or disease, which is interesting. There used to be disease with it. Look at the werewolves. These look really cute. They look like little dogs. Hey, look how cute they are. Not me going. Yeah, I've not seen the wolves like this before, but that looks like a new model. It looks like a pet, like a non-combat pet you can buy. I get very distracted. With the Templar, what does the Templar bring to the werewolf kit? So you've got, this will not work at the moment. This will not work. Burning Light will, so you get a free dot. And you get free weapons, spell damage and armor. You then got, this will not work. This will not work. This will not work. This will work, so you get cost reduction. And Restoring Light, you've got Mending, which will work. Sacred Ground, not at the moment, but we can check that in a sec. Light Weaver. I mean, heal and allies with Restoring Light, you get ult. Activate an ability with a channel time. Cause you to block automatically at no cost. Oh, that could be fun. Light Weaver. Where's our werewolf thing? So with the werewolf beam, as we were calling it earlier, this would then automatically lock. Because this is a channel, isn't it? So, and then, oh, I need to see if somebody's online. Anybody? I've just messaged somebody. I'll try this person here. What I want to check is when you do this, can you be interrupted? Because when you're blocking, you can't be interrupted normally. Yeah? One of the big issues you have is we're trying to basically get it off. And if you can do this for free, then you can't be like interrupted. That means you can actually get some good damage out of this. And it hits very hard. Whilst we wait, we'll see what we should. You should have the block icon. You think so, but when you do jabs, you don't get the block icon. Can I have a look? I don't see it. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, there it is. Look, I just saw it. It might have been hard to see, but that was definitely there. So yeah, so that definitely works with this, which is quite cool. And then we go to Resurrect Speed. Nothing great there. So class mastery, we have Burning Bastion of Light. Light concentrates the ground, which you dread. Sacred Light is now applied when you are in your own Nova, Spear Shards, and Radial Sweep and Solar Barrage. While Sacred Ground is active, you heal for additional health. And you get ult. That's quite good. That's not going to help us Werewolf. While Sacred Ground is active, you gain a damage shield for 6 seconds, up to once every 6 seconds. The shield absorbs 4.5k damage and provides 300 regens. Upgrades the rank to Illuminate to auto grant Blight Harbinger for the duration, which grants 300 weapon and spell damage and doubles to allies and doubles for you. So where's Illuminate? I think that is down here. That's Dawn's Wrath, so we can't get that one sadly as a werewolf. Not yet anyway. Burning Light, your Templar ability to gain 1250 damage for 3.5 seconds. That won't work. And then Steadfast, Sacred Ground activates and refreshes itself while bracing, increasing the damage you block at 20% while stationary. So that's Sacred Ground. So we could use this one and get a shield. I'm wondering, it sounds silly, but we could do something like this. So I wonder if they all work together. We are blocking. We have to hold block. Okay. So this passive that has the auto block doesn't proc that. Well, the Sacred Gun did proc though, but that one doesn't. That procs when you hold block, which is a damage boost. Okay. Hold the line. What's that? That's what this bit is. There's something like synergy with the two, so you probably would drop that and go with probably Judgment's brand. Really just like, werewolves, not ideal. I know it's not, but we all know Sorcerer's like broken as hell for this. In such a good way. There's a poll going of what should we check next with this, and we're going through all the masteries quick. I'll do it before I go off. It is midnight where I am though, so I hope you appreciate the effort. I'm also very curious. Let's get back an ult. Wood Saltwood. Sulk is by far the most broken thing for werewolf that we found so far. Like, it is ridiculous how good it is. Okay, so we feel like let's get rid of goodbye Necromancer. Get a new one. So the poll is saying Nightblade and Necro. They're like tight. Let's do Nightblade. I think it's going to be quite a quick one to do. Necro's going to be a bit more involved with the testing. But yes, Sorcerer is like ridiculous. Uvaso says, "Can werewolf put on pants?" I don't think it's like the Hulk, sadly. So you're going to see he's like hairy legs and stuff. He can't do much about that.
Stop that thing!
Curse it! I haven't even done anything yet.
Grab all of these bad boys.
Want to earn some coin and confound the law?
Nordsalk. If you're going to go as a... What is that? Alright, so it's going mad. If you're going to go as a new character, Sorcerer's great, like really, really good. Race-wise, there's a few advantages for each one. So Nord gives you ult gen, which helps you stay in the werewolf easier. It gives you armor, which is quite hard to get on a werewolf, and it gives you health. Orc gives you more sprint speed, so you can get to people quicker, but you have a gap close, and it's dirt cheap. I don't know how useful that bit is. You do get more damage, but you have enough damage personally, so I don't think you need it. Imperial gives you cost reduction on everything and the ult. That's decent. I don't think it's necessary. And then you've got like High Elf, which is like damage and some of your off stat with some magic and sustain, which could be helpful. So I think Nord is probably what I'd go with personally if I made a new character. It's quite hard to get armor. So whilst we're in the Nightblade, we're going to do the same thing as before. We'll check, do we have everything we need? Are there any like things that are really, really worth like going, oh, this will be good for the werewolf or not? And then we'll look at the masteries and see how they work with this too. But I do have to say, looking at the masteries, I've been very, very pleased with them. They're very good on the whole. Like, yeah, there's a few that are a bit, not sure, but on the whole, they're pretty solid. I will also check the CP. I don't think there's any new CP nodes, so I've not looked for them. Is there any werewolf ones? These blessings, chat. I don't think there's a specific werewolf one. It's a Nightblade one. What does Nightblade bring to the werewolf? You're Master Assassin. crit damage, or crit chance, sorry. So 6% crit chance, which is nice. If enemies die, you get sustained. You're not going to get that often. You won't get pressure points, but you won't get hemorrhage even. You will get the major savagery, I think. Critical strike in any form grants you and your group major savagery. Let's check that. We can just light attack out of this. Okay, that did not proc it. Sometimes when they say like when the ability slotted, sometimes they separate the two things, but this is for both. So we can't get anything out of this at the moment. Shadow, sustain, we don't get that, we won't get that, and we won't get that. Siphoning, we will get ult on potion. We won't get that, we won't get that, and we won't get that. So basically, you get like nothing so far. Can the masteries fix it? Upgrade hemorrhage to have a chance to generate 2 ult. This can occur every 0.3 seconds, and the chance is equal to your weapon critical chance. So this is really good ult gen. As a if you've got like 40% crit chance, you're gonna be getting a lot of ult really fast. We then have an eye for exploration. Every strike, every stab is a step towards execution. Increase your weapon and spell damage by 1250 based on your target's missing health. Reduce your damage taken by 12% based on your attacker's missing health. That is good. So above and beyond, as an assassin is only as good as their reputation. Increase crit damage and crit healing by 15%, and this is half against players. You always get 25% more crits total. I don't think that's good. Cutthroat's focus. The duel will be their last. For you, it's just another dance. Activate a Nightblade ability while bracing causes you to dodge attacks for 0.3 seconds. When you dodge an attack, your attacker's psyche suffers, increasing their damage taken by 5% for 5 seconds. That's just annoying. That's going to be so annoying to fight against. And then we've got Share the Spoils. Secrets and coin are tools as sharp as daggers you wield. Upgrade rank 2 of transfer to grant the closest 4 group members 250 magicka and stamina, 1 ult, and doubles the ult you gain when it activates. I think this is the one from Siphoning down here. Right at the bottom. So yeah, basically Nightblade for the werewolf is pretty bad. Nightblade for the Nightblade Mastery, not that good. This is just ult gen. This is nice, a lot of extra damage. Like when they're at say half health, you're doing an extra 600 weapon and spell damage, which is it's another 5-piece set. That's really good. But is it worth losing Crystal Weapon and Overload? Probably not. So I'm not sure about that one. Increased crit damage. That could help. It's only it's a 7.5%. It's still big. Bolt Ghost says, is Dragonite with Werewolf good? The answer is no. We have tested it. It's not good. Like, if I did like a tier list of which is the best class for Werewolf, at the moment you've got like Sorcerer, which is like SSSS plus tier. Like, it's just so high. Like, I don't think we can have enough pluses for this with how stupidly good it is. And then you have everything else. But the ones that are really good so far was Sorcerer. That was like super good. Templar was okay. Warden was okay. DK was pretty bad. Nightblade terrible. So we're gonna do the Necro. Oh, we're gonna do the Arcanist. I'm gonna do the Arcanist. Now the Arcanist Mastery, I think has some stuff going for it. I looked at the patch notes and it looked really good. Like really, really good. You've also said, I think enabling multiclass was a huge mistake. It should be the class you were assigned to at character creation. What I wanted from subclassing,
They haven't even done
and I
anything yet.
spoke to my friend Nath about this, and the developers went in a different direction, absolutely fine, I get it. But what I would have loved them to have done is, with the scribing system that we have, where you can modify skills, to have like a second era of that, or like third era in this case, where you can modify your actual base skill. And then essentially you'd have your skill here, you could change the damage type, change the resource cost, and give it a buff. So you could have like rune blades and it'll be like fire damage. If you pick fire damage, it now goes to magicka. If you pick physical damage, it goes to physical. And this could work for like any class skill. So like if we, for example, took Runic Jolt, yeah? This is magic damage, but you could change this to be physical damage. It's now a stamina skill. You could then... So I really wish they did something like that, personally. I thought that would have been... Because it kind of builds into the classes still, but it gives you the ability to modify and make what you need. But sometimes some of the skills aren't the right resources, they don't have the right buffs, and subclassing fixed all those issues and gave many new issues. So I think like something needed to happen to make the more build variety and variation, and there is. But it did increase power creep massively. We're going to grab the thing again. Johnny's like, that's Skyrim. I thought I used it. Okay, we'll grab our werewolf again. So, the Arcanist surprisingly has some really good passives. Like, I think there's a bit more useful stuff than people realise. You've probably seen me put this on a lot tonight. So Friedrich says, does Arcanist stack with Werewolf? Well, I'm going to... Some of the stuff I was looking at was maybe yes. So if we look at Herald of the Tome, when you generate Crux, you get loads of damage here, yeah? Now I'm going to go straight to the masteries, because I was looking at this earlier. Activating an Arcanist ability gives you Crux and loads of damage. This is very good if you're an Arcanist. This is a huge amount of damage. Upgrades rank 2 of implacable outcome to generate a maximum Crux up to once every 15 seconds and damage. So we find where that is. I think that was in the Soldier of Apocrypha down here. The Will of the Arcanist, when you consume a Crux, you gain 4 ult. So this one looks like it generates ult, but you need Crux to have it. So if you have Crux, you then use Crux to generate Crux. It's a bit weird. Upgrade Fated Fortune to auto increase your damage done by 30%, half against players. This is huge. It's a 15% damage boost. That's massive. Upgrade Fate Rune Armor, increasing Crux. While in combat, you heal when you overheal. So this was the way we thought maybe we could get Crux. So as a werewolf, you could, because you've got big heals, I would hope this is halved in PvP to like 30k, and then that would be achievable. You could actually get Crux quite easily. But we could use this to get Crux most likely. And then we could then use something like the activate an Arcanist ability. That wouldn't work. Fated Fortune. We can generate a Crux, so that will give us another big damage boost, another 7% damage done, which is quite huge. And another 15% damage done, which is going to be a massive damage. That's a huge damage boost. So we could do something like this possibly. So we're just checking. So can we get Crocs? That's the idea. So with the mastery, we need to just have lots of healing. So let's go get our heals. Just put on all of our... Okay. So what we're just checking is, can we generate Crocs? So there's our Crocs. Crocs is gone. We've got another Crocs. So we have a way where we can generate Crocs now. So that's something we can do. So let's see if we can keep the Crocs going. So our quintessence just popped again, and our Crocs has just reset. So this went back up to 30 seconds. So yes, this does work. If you watch the Crocs, which is here, it's on 17 seconds. And now it's back up to 29. So that does mean we can use the Croc system as a werewolf, which is quite nice because it means we can generate and proc these passives, which are really good. So we would then get 12% plus 15. That's a huge amount of damage, that is. A huge amount of damage. We get quintessence, which is nice. That's just really good. We won't get that. We won't get splintered liaison. We won't get that, sadly. We won't get that. Won't get that. Won't get that. Increase your healing done. So we would get this. We'd have 12% extra healing because we'd have 3 Crocs all of the time. Like, we won't run out of that. And then you'll also get this Magicka when that comes in. It's not a lot though. It's like so inconsistent. We get the 18% recovery though. So we can get some stuff from this. Is 15% crit damage. That's just damage on that's like major berserk and a bit. You can't generate there, and we can't. Yeah, so as a werewolf, we'd have to use Unbound Potential and Ink Scribe's Verve. They're like the only things you can use. I think it's probably better than DK because you've got this, so you've got increased crit damage and crit healing plus that bonus 15%. You've got weapon and spell damage, which is nice. You then have from down here, we won't get any of this stuff here sadly. But we will get minor evasion. No, we won't get that. You get the 12% crit healing, so 12% healing done. You get this. You get the sustain. You also get the 18% recovery. I think it's above DK. I don't think it's as good as DK. I don't think it's as good as Templar. I think Templar is better. I think like Nightblade and DK are like at the bottom. They're like the worst, personally. The only reason why DK is probably better, I think, is because the base class is actually stronger. So then if you wanted to like be a human for a bit and then go into werewolf, DK is probably going to be better for that. And obviously this is week 1. If they change the DK Storm passive to work with the alt drain, yeah, it'll be really good. We are on our final class, guys, to show all the passives. And it is going to be the Necromancer. And then I think I've covered everything. Yeah, it's been we did Warden at the start. And this would be Necromastery. I just saw Johnny's message. Little wolf subject, but May the 16th. Dan kept that day open. So what we're going to do is we are going to
Haven't done anything yet.
try the Necromancer. Friedrich thinks the Necromancer is going to be good. I'm not too convinced. I'm going to be out there. And I'd be love to be proved wrong. But I don't think it's going to be that useful. It really depends on how the corpse abilities work and what's counted. But yeah, Werewolf Nord, Sorcerer, fantastic. Go with that, sorted, bish bash bosh. I need to get a consumable, my Vampire Maxer to do. Got a werewolf on here. I really hope they do this to Vampire. Okay, so let's go through the passives quick, what works, okay? When your sacrificial blastman mender dies, that won't work. Gravelord, that won't work. We don't have any Gravelord slotted, so we don't have that crit chance. We don't have the penetration. We only get the rapid drop. We get 10% damage over time. Damage over time doesn't kill people in PvP often. We need Bone Tyrant, that won't work. We get 15% damage reduction, but we need Bone Tyrant, that won't work. That won't work. Last Grasp, we get 2k health, and we get 10% dot damage at the moment. It's not that good. When we have a negative effect, we get 12% healing. That we will have that all times. We won't get near death. We won't get this one, and we won't get this one. The mastery though might fix some of this. So it says upgrades rank 2 of corpse consumption to auto grant a stack of nothing wasted for 10 seconds, which increases the max health by 2% and weapon and spell damage by 2% per stack up to 10 times. Stacks decay 3 at a time instead of all at once. So nothing wasted. There is... Maybe I'm going mad because it's corpse consumption. Corpse consumption is down here. When you consume a corpse, you generate 10 ult. This can occur every 16 seconds. I don't think that's going to be that helpful. Yes, you're feeding as a werewolf, but in PvP, not that often. In a dungeon against a boss, not that often. Malevolent Promise. Upgrade it again to mark the closest non-player enemy to you with Death Touch, allowing you to use a corpse consuming ability on them. Consuming or replacing this effect triggers. So if you can feed on it, but I don't think that will work as a feed. Yeah, I will check it, but I don't think it will. Because I don't think the consumers are considered feeds, but we'll check. Cycle Wonderful. Upgrades rank to a reusable parts to grant cycle unending for 25 seconds, increasing your damage done by 1% for every 1% of your health you have more than your target. This was quite cool. So basically, if you're really high health and the target's low health, you do even more damage. So this is kind of, you want to basically out-sustain your target to do bonus damage. Isn't going to help us here though. Pound of Flesh. When you take damage, you have a 1% chance to heal for 2.6k and restore 5% of your missing stamina up to once every second. This chance increases by 1% for every missing percent you have and healing the space of max health. This is good, we could use this. And then Veil's Forfeit. While you're in combat, directly heal an attacker below 50% health, relinquishes them from death's clutches and allows you to use a corpse consuming ability against them for 10 seconds. Do once every second. Consuming or replacing this effect grants 2 ult. Shadow in chat on YouTube says, does this PTS have any pure class passives? Yes, it's got all of them. If you go through the stream, I did a lot on the Warden and the Werewolf at the start, and then I've gone through every single class and shown all the passives, and we've kind of looked at how they would work with the Werewolf, but you can see every single passive. Sorcerer is very, very good for everything. It's all great. Warden's great passives. So some good stuff. We are going to try this. And we'll get the other one just to make it like nice and clear. So I wonder if that can go on yourself. Yeah, I'm going to go on a limb and say this isn't going to work. And this will probably be the last bit for tonight because it is it's midnight where I am, and I've got work in the morning. Just fill up our werewolf bar quick. Hopefully that should give us some ideas. Tom's like, it's 2:33 AM here. Yeah, it's so late. But I love it, I love it, I love it. Or not. Where did my... Oh. That was annoying. That's like so annoying. Jura says, so Savage Werewolf and Hide of the Werewolf are actually going to be werewolf sets now. I'll have a look at those in a sec. So what we want to check is the corpse stuff. Can you devour it? That's what that red is. I don't know if that works on the dummy. So we're going to have to find an NPC quickly to check that. Because it'll work on a player. But yeah, I'll have a look at the sets and just kind of showcase what changed with those two. And then we will probably call it here. Obviously, as like a selfish plug, if you haven't done so, you know, liking, subscribing and stuff does really help out a lot more than you realise. Friedrich says, I was mostly interested in the first mastery once you killed a target. Yeah. I'll leave this place.
And just in time, I see the summons worked. Adventurer, Varnus Galarian has...
Okay, we're going to bin this character.
and spells.
It's really annoying you can't leave the heroes well return thing. And because this is it's the NA account, I don't log into the PC NA account often. I'm going to have to quickly delete this, sorry, and then remake him. That's so annoying. Like that. Sorry about that. Jordan says, if you're building for werewolf and you lose mid-fight, you kind of... yes. If you go with pack leader though, it's really easy to stay in it. Like, if you're in pack leader, without using any werewolf like sustaining skills, you could stay in there like pretty much indefinitely, as long as you're doing damage. So, I didn't really see that much of an issue personally with it. if you're going with the Berserker, you do have issues. And I don't think the dot's worth it. Shadow says, I have a werewolf sorcerer with subclass. Will this work on him? If you're a werewolf sorcerer, you have like literally hit the gold mine. You have gone to the casino and you have won big, because it is like the best combo you can get that we found. It is so broken, it's actually not funny. I'm just going to grab the thing, and we're just checking before we show the sets of essentially what's
in your own homeland.
sorry, I just read his message. We're going to Disney Boys.
One does not know, but he hopes his family is safe in River.
But yeah, we're going to quickly check if the Necro class mastery passes work with the Devour from the Werewolf. I don't think they do, in all honesty. So killers, the Berserker dot is usually 15 to 20% DPS. Yeah, it really is nice in PvP. But if you're having to drop a penetration set, for example, to run Werewolf Hide, are you going to be better going with the Wolves and running a different set to make up the damage that way? That's my thinking. I will need to test the actual numbers. Because the Berserker thing is really, really good. I will turn it down a bit. It seems that that part's a bit loud. But yeah, I turned the game sound up so you could hear all the animations, and then you just hear a menu spam. So apologies. Alright, so we can now actually check if it works. I don't think it will work. But I'd love to find out. It's annoying that those settings aren't default, by the way. Once you do it once, it saves it. So what we want to find out is, with the class mastery, so consuming this puts a corpse consumption ability on the non-player enemy. So this, in theory, should proc what we need. I don't think it will work. Not gonna lie. But I would love to check. Feels like nothing wasted. Org says, for the 1-bar DK PvP build, if you don't have Gore Thief yet, what would you recommend? Gore Thief is really good. Is it essential? No. I was using Essence Thief. It's not that good. It works, but with how it plays, I wouldn't use it. You could do the stats dense build, which uses Shattered Fate and 5-piece Ethereal Ascension. You could change it to Mark of the Prior, for example, as a similar set. And you will then up having really tanky build with decent damage. So I would go for Shattered Fate, Org, and probably Mark of the Prior, because they're both really good sets. Gore Thief you can buy from players, by the way. It's tradable. It's probably really expensive. So I'm going to Werewolf now, and let's see if... I use a Slaughter passive. I'm not sure why that worked. But we go up quick. Okay, what we want to check is then, can we use a Consuming? Because he should look, yeah, so he's got a blue bit on him. But we can't feed on it, I'm trying to feed. So, we know the answer. Orc says, easy enough, I'll spend some gold. Oh, I definitely would. Yeah, you can see it there, that's a blue bit on him. So that's the... That's the class mastery bit. Letting us use corpse stuff on him. Which means Necro as a werewolf is really, really bad. You can increase your stats, but from PvP, you're going to need lots of corpses. And they only last 10 seconds. Whatever it is, it's not that long. Whereas you could just go to something else. I'd probably just subclass it out and just go for different skills, to be honest. But this doesn't help. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. Only that helps. That does not help. That does not. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. That does help. That kind of helps. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. You basically can drop like 12% healing and grab like loads of sustain or loads of something else that would work. But the Death Kneel. Don't think it did. The Death Kneel, no, because you need to have it's with a Grave Lord ability slotted. We don't have any. Because there's no ability slotted, we don't get this. So that execute that we're thinking of just wouldn't work. Which is why like Necro is pretty bad. So we're going to go on to like the Sorcerer, and then we'll check the sets, and I'll kind of call it there, guys, because it is midnight almost. It's gone midnight, almost 1 o'clock. Sorry. Shadow earlier was saying, I need a challenge to complete the Dark Brotherhood storyline stealth as a werewolf. That would be quite cool. You can't sneak, so that'll make it like really funny. Where's my Sorcerer? He is here. Little Chongus boy, look at him. Oh, little pot belly. So yeah, we're going to go and... I'm going to say Sork is by far the best for werewolf. If you're making a werewolf, go as a Sorcerer. But you will have no regrets. All the passives that you could pretty much want work. And we found out that this works. And then because this works, this makes everything that the werewolf does proc blood magic, which means you heal on every single skill. Every single skill you do will heal you as a werewolf. It is absolutely obscene. It's so broken, this is stupid. But in such a good way. Gunn says, what Mundus will you think will sit for werewolf before you go off? When I build my characters, I create kind of what I call the adjustment box. The idea is that you can take certain things like your Mundus Stone, your glyphs, and your food, and if you put them into like a package, Mundus Stone, glyphs, food, that's basically a set that allows you to tweak the build around your actual armor pieces. So, for example, you might go, I don't have enough sustain. Put on the Atronach, you got more regen. Change your food, you got more regen. Change your glyphs, you got more regen. You got enough regen with those 3 changes. You might go, I don't have enough damage. Go for the Lover Mundus, you get more damage. Put on more max stat food, you get more damage. Put on damage glyphs, you get more damage. So by tweaking the glyphs and stuff and the Mundus Stone, you can refine the build, and I'd use that at the end. So get the sets you want, get the skills you want, and then go, what are you lacking? Is it sustain? Is it killing power? Is it survivability? Is it utility? And then use those things like glyphs on the jewelry and traits on the jewelry, Mundus Stone and food to just tweak the build to get it where you need it. So that's what I do personally. PMC says, what about Templar Werewolf? Templar Werewolf was okay. Sorcerer Werewolf is on a whole new level. It is so good. It comes down to this. You get free healing from the mastery and you get free damage. And you got really good passives as well. So like you got, if they're higher health, you do more damage. And then with the mastery, if they're lower health, you do more damage. You got an execute. You get passive healing. Everything you do heals you now. So what we're going to now do is we're going to go through and just look at some sets before I go off. I think this has talk on here. What's our damage on? Our damage is on 4k. It's not that high, but it's close enough. So I'm gonna go through these sets. And it was mainly a lot of the werewolf sets that changed. So this is height of the werewolf set. When you take damage, you generate 6 ultimate. This can occur once every 5 seconds, and ultimate triples whilst in werewolf transformation. This is crazy ult gen for werewolf. This will sustain you most likely. So this is a very good thing for werewolf, and this is going to go up in value very quick. But if you're on like live and you go, I need money, I personally would buy this. You can. And try and sell it. I would buy things like weapons. I would buy medium armor body pieces because people will use this, and this will be worth a lot of money in about a month or two. I'm just gonna go through and check there's nothing else that I missed. But salvation, reduce the cost of werewolf transformation ability by 33% whilst in form you get. This could be good. Let's check this. Let's try this. Does this actually apply to the initial cost or the sustained cost? Because that's actually really important. If it's the sustained cost, then I don't know. This might be better than Werewolf Hide, in all honesty. And I think people would overlook this because it doesn't seem that clear. Let's just take that off for a sec. So that's 57. Or, only 2%. Okay. So it's 57. It is. Get some combat going. There. 56. So that's about. It was about 57. Okay, let's take this bit off now. We'll try that again. With the ult now. We were on 350 odd, and now we're down to 271. That was about 85, yeah. So it does look like salvation does reduce the ult. So let's not to be like geeky and mathsy, but I'm going to do it because I can't help myself. So if we look at the werewolf hide, then because that's a good set, we know that. I think, and just my initial thoughts is that salvation might be better as medium. So werewolf hive is we generate 18 ult, yeah, over every 5 seconds, okay? The 18 ult, that's, was it 36 in 10 seconds, yeah? Or 3.6 per second, okay? So werewolf hide 3.6 per second, yeah? Now we need to have a look at the difference. Because we have no other cost reduction on this build at the moment. So it is currently 57. Oh, that might have done some stuff there. Oh, some of my numpad keys are like shortcuts. So if I push a button, it might change some of the streams. And then if I take it off, it's now 85. It's a huge reduction, that is, isn't it? Absolutely massive reduction. Just 28. 2.8. There's not a big difference. Looking at that, salvation is 2.8 per second. So it's only 0.8 difference, or it's 8 ult in 10 seconds. That's not a big ult difference, but you gain the extra damage from this set. So you get the extra 150 weapon and spell damage. It's stamina recovery, and stamina. What is the other one? Sorry. Health, stamina, weapon and spell damage. So 129. What is this one? 150. What? 2 stamina is about another 200. That's 250 damage roughly then. Combined. Versus. Yes, you got the 129, so you got like 2. Yes, this is roughly. This is about 100 weapon damage. Yeah, that's what 1,000 stamina works out roughly. This is about 230 weapon damage. And salvation is like 300 odd. You got 100, 200. This is about 350. So salvation will give you quite a bit more damage, slightly less ult sustain, and you get stamina recovery, not health. So I think both are really good. Both have their places. I think if you want a more aggressive build and you worry about staying in werewolf, use salvation, that's good. If you think, actually, I just want to be really sure, go with werewolf hide. But no, that's good to check that. That was. I'm just going to go through and just check there's no other ones that I've missed. The Sensuous Bite. There's no more like werewolf ones there. I don't think there's any light armor werewolf. I'm just going to go to the dungeon sets. If you can think of a werewolf set that you want like checked quickly whilst I'm on, I will. They're generally medium. It's a blood drink or something it's called. This one, Blood Moon. When you deal damage with a melee light attack, you gain a stack of blood scent for 8 seconds. When you gain 5 seconds, you become frenzy, increasing your melee light attacks by 2,000 and attack speed. That's just normal one. That is. That's just like a light attack. That's the same as currently. And then Targlin's Howl. After you've recently enemy dies, shoot out a howl, granted 3 allies heed call. Add defense injury gives them ult. Damage werewolf. Your light attacks made with melee red flesh, causing them to bleed for 8 to 8, and instantly additional. This effect scales off your high weapon spell damage. If you're werewolf, you also gain 6% damage done. So this is quite good for damage. This is quite a good damage set because you get this dot, which is really nice. So this is 8 to 8. It is on the initial, so it's basically an extra 800 per hit. Yeah. If you want to compare it to the Berserker one, this is 486 over 3. So go 4869 divided by 3. This is 1600. So this is basically double that set. So if you didn't want to, if you wanted the extra bleed, but you didn't want to have the sustain issue of being in werewolf, you could run the set. You lose a little bit of bleed damage on the light attacks, but the set fixes that. And then you also gain the damage done, which will probably make it up a bit more. So that was, if I divide it by 2 and then times it by 0.6% there, it's like an extra, it's about it's about 500 difference per tick. And obviously bearing in mind that is unbuffed, so that will increase a bit, but it's also half in PvP, so it won't be a massive difference, I don't think, between those two. And all your other skills hit harder to obviously help offset it. Because I think if you go for the Berserker one, you're probably going to have to run a sustain set. You can't sustain that easily. That's really hard. You could just run the Savage Werewolf set and Berserker for giga damage. I love it. You literally just be bleeding everybody to death. But no, I think we have done some good deep diving into this. We've had a real good look at what is the werewolf, how does it work, how does it function. We've gone through every class mastery passive, and there are some really good things in here. I will probably look to try and get a stream out on Wednesday this week, where I will do a deep dive into the masteries, if people are up for that, and really look at how can you build a pure class warden, a pure class sorcerer, not werewolf, a pure class dragon knight, and really make them work. And I do think Oakensoul builds will benefit much more from this than other ones. Virgil was asked about Nightblade. All of the passives I have shown throughout the stream. So I'm going to say if you missed something, please go back, watch the stream, or just rewind. If somebody wants to be really helpful and go through and just timestamp when I change the classes, that'd be really helpful. Put it in the comment and I'll pin it. But I'm just going to say a massive thanks to everybody that likes, comments, subscribes. It really helps the channel out. If you haven't done so, do join the Discord. It's the best place to get hold of me. I think there's like 1,100 people in there now. It's quite a few people. I'll put a link to it here. And then, just as always, if you like the videos, you want to see the builds and stuff, such as this one, so this is coming to the channel, then subscribe and stuff. But this is one that's really funny, it's really hard. It's the Templar bomb DK thing, and you'll see this is glorious for this. But yeah, this is going to be coming to the channel very soon. It just pulls people when you blow them up. It's really fun. But I'm just going to say a massive thanks again, and I'll catch you next video stream. Take care, guys, and bye.